Thursday, the 16th of April, 2020. Good morning. Welcome to the program. I'm Jane Boy. As always, we appreciate you for making time to start your morning with us right here on KBC Channel 1. It is Thursday and we always get to focus on the entertainment scene, and today it is no different. We are going to be having such an entertaining show coming up in not too long, and of course we are going to be bringing you some of the trending topics that have been hitting the social media streets with a bang. Key among them is what has been happening in Murang'a County with the whole issue of masks. You know, given that it is now a requirement to walk in public with face masks, some villages in Maragua village in Murang'a County have had a different story, because some of them have been tricked into buying things that resemble a face mask. But we will be letting you know more about that in not too long. My name is Jane Boy. Welcome once again.
And this morning, because it's all about Thursday being the new Friday, as we say it right here on GMK on Good Morning Kenya, we would like you to be part of this show as we start from the beginning till the tail end. We'll be having lots of artists coming in. We'll be having discussions on the entertainment scene, matters music, matters art, right here on Good Morning Kenya. Very good morning to you. Hope you've woken up well, fine and healthy this fine Thursday morning. My name is Ram Aguko.
Well, hello there. A very good morning to you once more. My name is Fiona Shiru, and I'll be bringing you the Good Morning Kenya news briefs. Today morning, we do have a sad story of Ken Walibora, a renowned journalist, author, and scholar. His recent passing away. We'll be having a look at his life in the public with authoring and journalism and everything you need to know about his life up to his death till today. We shall also be having a look at what is happening in Vihiga County. Apparently, there was a mob justice incident. We'll be having a look at the aspects that brought about the mob justice, and we shall also be having our daily update from the Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe on how the country is fighting COVID-19 that is brought by Purity Museo. So do stay tuned for that. We do have a lot more in store for you, so do stay tuned.
Even as we talk about Thursday being our new Friday, getting to do things easy, entertaining, in an entertaining way, the discussions we'll be having this day, I will be speaking to Wanavokali, which is an a cappella group that is really doing that is really doing a lot of good work in terms of music, given the fact that they just won a prize just recently, and also given the fact that it is a group that just began in 2018. So you can imagine just 2 years down the line and they're here winning prizes. We'll be talking about their musical journey, how they came together, how this has been like for them, and also their style of doing music as an a cappella group. How has this been like? How do they handle challenges as a group, and also some of their next projects moving forward. So this is what we'll be discussing this morning with that specific group. Many thanks for joining us on the show this morning. My name is Doreen Arangi.
And of course, we are also here to let you know what is in which daily this morning with the 4 copies that we have with us in studio this morning. So do keep it here to catch up within the headlines, which will be coming up just after the GMK news brief. But in the meantime, do talk to us. Remember, our individual handles ever remain at Doreen Arange, at Fiona Shuru, at Ramaguko, at Jane Mamboy, and official station handle is at KBC Channel 1, and the official hashtag ever remains hashtag Good Morning Kenya.
Well, thank you for that. Now let's get straight into the news. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe is warning Kenyans to adhere to measures put in place to fight coronavirus pandemic, saying the worst is yet to come. The warning from Kagwe came as Kenya confirmed 9 more new cases in the last 24 hours, all said to be from people who have had no history of travel and were out mingling with the community. Purity Museo reports.
The Ministry of Health Wednesday reported 9 more coronavirus infections, raising the total number of cases to 225.
Out of the 803 samples, 9 people have tested positive, bringing to 225 the number of confirmed cases in the country. And I would like also to mention that all the 9 cases are Kenyan nationals. And also, none of them has a history of travel, and none of them was in a quarantine center.
Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe said none of the 9 had a recent travel history outside the country. The new cases raising fears that many Kenyans could be out and have already contracted the virus. The CS warning that the mass testing exercise will give a true picture of the spread of the virus in the country, urging Kenyans not to let down their guards but adhere to set regulations.
Let me send out a word of caution. We are not out of danger. A comparative review of the countries now being overrun by the virus shows that they were reporting similar figures as we are now. You will note that our 4.6% death rate is within the global range of 6.3%.
On the same period, 12 more people were discharged, bringing to 53 the number of those who have recovered. Sadly, 1 more person succumbed to the disease, bringing to 10 the number of those who have died from COVID-19. 2,336 contacts are being monitored and 455 contacts are under the surveillance radar. Kagwe, in the meantime, has condemned Kenyans who are not cooperating with the police during curfew hours.
And I thought that for once, I was going to see the human rights organizations condemn those who are misbehaving with the police.
The CS reiterated the importance of Kenyans putting on the mask, which are ready available in the market cheaply.
Numerous organizations now that are making masks, and selling them all the way from 5 shillings to 15 shillings and some very sophisticated ones, to 50 shillings and so on and so forth. I can tell you that mine, this one is about 5 bob. The beauty of some of these masks, especially the cloth ones, is that they are reusable. And you can buy it and wash it before you use it. So that if you have got the one you have now, Purity, you can take one of these, use that one today, wash this one, it's clean, and then you can use it tomorrow.
To scale up the war against the virus, the government has received 18,900 swabs, protective clothing, thermometer gloves and equipment from the Jack Ma Foundation and other assorted equipment to help fight the pandemic from WHO. As the country embarked on a mass testing exercise this week, the Wednesday 9 confirmed cases were not picked from any isolation center, but from the streets of Nairobi and Mombasa. Again, the 9 did not have any travel history. This tells you that community spread of COVID-19 is real in the country. It's now upon Kenyans to adhere to set guidelines on COVID-19 prevention. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News, Nairobi.
County governments have injected 5 billion shillings to the county government's emergency fund initiative in the fight against COVID-19. The Council of Governors at the same time wants Parliament and the national government to allow the county bosses to purchase medical supplies from alternative sources away from KEMSA and end the shortage of much-needed medical equipment.
There's a suggestion.
Speaking while receiving donations from well-wishers at Delta House, Nairobi, Governor said they are ready to handle the situation as it unfolds.
As the environment change, we also change our strategy. So I cannot say what will happen in the next 3 months, but we will be there and we will cross the bridge together.
The county governments at the same time put the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority on the spot for failure to timely supply medical equipment amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
County governments are facing a challenge in the procurement of medical supplies in the midst of this pandemic due to the monopoly of KEMSA as the sole provider of medical supplies to county governments.
The governor said they have not received sample kits and testing kits and are worried now that coronavirus has spread to the community level.
We therefore urge the Ministry of Health and Parliament to urgently review or suspend the law to allow county government to procure essential medical supplies requirement from other suppliers.
This as the devolved units pump 5 billion shillings towards the emergency fund initiative. All the 47 county governments have prepared isolation facilities equipped with 3,156 beds. According to the COG, counties have also trained 9,701 health workers both at the county and sub-county level. Farmers are also set to benefit from 9,000 metric tons of fertilizer and additional 10,060 metric tons of assorted seeds. Irene Mchuma Odim, Channel 1.
The government is undertaking massive screening of commuters along the Kisumu-Siaya road after 2 cases of coronavirus were reported in Siaya. The Acting Director General of Health, Dr. Patrick Amoth, who led a team from the Ministry of Health officials to Siaya, warned that those found flaunting quarantine rules or failing quarantine rules will be forced to stay at home even longer in isolation as the government scales up measures to try and contain a possible spread of the virus. Achola Simon reports.
A day after a second case of the coronavirus was confirmed in Siaya County, the government has stepped up efforts to ensure any possible spread is nipped in the bud.
It's basically a mission of support and solidarity with the people of Siaya County in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic disease.
Our healthcare workers are actually our frontline soldiers, so to speak, not just for COVID, but for any other case management. They have always been there. And therefore, we will do everything. But if you do not motivate them, then whatever you're doing will come to nothing.
The government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna, accompanied by the Director General of Health and other high-ranking health officials, toured the county on a fact-finding mission to assess the preparedness already in place. Oguna revealed that the county will be amongst those to be given preference when mass testing kicks off. Oguna urging the youth and innovators to take the lead in the fight against the spread of the virus as they form the bigger chunk of the country's population.
Bodaboda wamejaa hapa, wengi ni vijana. Tunapoangalia kuna idadi kubwa tu hawana face masks. Idadi kubwa tu hawaweki social distancing. Lakini wako na viongozi hapo. Ina maana kwamba county commissioner anapokosa kuona basi ni kitu cha kawaida tu. Hapana. Vijana lazima muingie ndani kwa vita hivi ili tuweze kushinda vita hivi. Bila vijana kuingia ndani na kina mama pia itakuwa ni vigumu sana kuweza kushinda vita hivi.
They warned that the government will not hesitate to institute tough measures for those flouting quarantine rules.
Where people have failed to honor the covenant of self-quarantine or mandatory quarantine by maintaining distance, by not staying in their rooms, by not washing hands, we will not hesitate to even extend it to 28 days or 36 days to be able to protect Kenyan people. We will go the whole hog. If you don't want to comply, we will force you to comply.
20 to 80% of those that have tested positive for corona have come from the quarantine facilities. And if you can begin to appreciate and even imagine what could have happened is these people could have been left to mingle with the rest of the community. It would have been something that we could not even be talking about now. And therefore, as we look at what is not happening to them, we must also begin to ask ourselves, what would have happened if this had not happened to them?
Achola Simon, reporting for Channel 1 News from Siaya County.
The government has scaled up efforts to increase access to water supply to informal settlements in the Nairobi metropolis. Water and Sanitation Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki says drilling and equipping of 20 boreholes will be complete by the end of April as the government as part of efforts to contain any possible spread of the global pandemic in Kenya's informal settlements.
As the government marshaled resources to combat the spread of the coronavirus, Kenyans living in informal settlements still remain badly exposed to the pandemic. Insufficient water supply is negating efforts to entrench personal hygiene and safe social distancing. To bridge this gap, the government has embarked on a 200 million shilling project to ensure taps never run dry for an additional 150,000 residents living in Nairobi's slum areas.
We have many boreholes in Nairobi today, going to over 5,000. But it has become evident with the C-19, the COVID-19 it is important we upscale access to water, because like the Minister of Health has told us every day since the pandemic broke out, it is important that if we are not able to sanitize our hands, that we use clean water with soap.
The targeted areas include Mukuru, Kayole, Mathare, Korogosho, Kibra, Kawangware, Dandora, Gatina, Kahawa Kiwanja, Riruta, among other areas.
A lot in terms of responding to the current pandemic will count for how we as the citizens behave, and therefore to ask and urge all of us to observe the directives that are routinely being given by the minister responsible for health in terms of social distancing, in terms of personal hygiene, in terms of presenting yourself in the event that you get any of the flu symptoms to the closest health worker.
Kilifi Deputy Governor Gideon Saburi will spend a further night in police custody after the Mombasa Law Courts adjourned the ruling on his bail application to Wednesday. The prosecution team has meanwhile urged the court to detain Saburi for 10 more days to conclude investigations, arguing that if released, the Deputy Governor is likely to intimidate witnesses, claiming some have already received some threats.
The prosecution team led by Edgar Mlamala had applied affidavit to detain the Deputy Governor for 10 more days, an application that prompted the Principal Magistrate Elvis Micheka to adjourn the case to give his ruling. Prosecution team want Saburi denied bond, arguing that by releasing him will put witnesses at risk, claiming some have already been threatened. The defense team, led by Senior Counsel George Kithi, argued that there was no need for detaining their client at the Port Police since they had already tabled their report before the court. The Kithi-led team further wants Saburi released on bond as the prosecution team continue with the investigations. The Deputy Governor was charged for willingly exposing himself in public while suffering an infectious disease without taking proper precautions, contrary to Section 28A of the Public Health Act, Cap 242, Laws of Kenya. He has since pleaded not guilty. Since the charge is new to the courts, the then Magistrate Rita Amwai had ordered that she be furnished with much detailed medical information to assist in her ruling. And on Wednesday, Principal Magistrate Elvis Micheka adjourned the case when he will give his ruling.
I'll reserve my ruling 9 o'clock.
Reporting for Channel 1 News from Mombasa County, I'm Michael Mondiga.
The government has officially published the standard operating procedures for law enforcement officers at the roadblocks in the designated COVID-19 infected areas of Nairobi Metropolitan, Mombasa, Kilifi and Kwale. The guidelines published by the National Multi-Agency Command Center outlines the COVID-19 do's and don'ts of operations by law enforcers in designated points in the declared COVID-19 areas. This as 54 people were put under mandatory quarantine after they were nabbed by police for flouting government directive of social distancing.
Efforts to combat the COVID-19 pandemic has taken a notch higher, with the government formally publishing the standard operating procedures, which the law enforcement officers manning roadblocks in the designated COVID-19 infected areas of Nairobi Metropolitan area of Mombasa, Kilifi and Kwale should adhere to. The procedures, which were still in operation, have seen elements of disharmony and misunderstanding at the roadblocks, with incidents of confrontation between security personnel and citizens during its enforcement. The regulations curtails movement of persons into and out of the COVID-19 infected areas of Nairobi Metropolitan, Mombasa, Kwale and Kilifi. The regulations, however, gives commercial vehicles transporting farm produce and lawful cargo, ambulances transporting patients to health facilities, a leeway at the roadblocks. Private cars and public transport vehicles are prohibited from entering or leaving the COVID-19 infected areas. According to the published standard operating procedures, no person shall be exempted from the rules except by authority of the Cabinet Secretary for Health certified in writing. Meanwhile, police officers in Maragua constituency of Murang'a County have taken 54 people to a 14 days mandatory quarantine after they were found flouting government directive of social distancing. The 54 were being ferried in a canter and a pickup vehicle from Mugoiri in Kiharu constituency.
Sasa hao kwa sababu wameshikwa, si tutawapeleka quarantine ama pahali penye tutawazuia kwa wiki mbili, 2 weeks at their own cost. Ili wakuwe examples ya wengine, ili watu wajue kufuata sheria.
Tunahimiza watu wasiwe wanakaribiana zaidi, lakini tumeshangaa maafisa hawa ambao tunafurahi sana, tunashukuru wameweza kushika lori hiyo ikiwa na zaidi ya watu 50 ndani, na vile vile kwa na meski zile ambazo kwa sasa tunabana nyuso zetu, hasa midomo na mapua, kwa sababu ya kuweza kuzuia ugonjwa huu.
At Maragua police station, the people arrested mitigated their case that they were only casual laborers in search for daily bread and appealed for the police to release them. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Timothy Kipnosu.
Renowned author and journalist Professor Ken Walibora is dead. Professor Walibora was allegedly hit by a public service vehicle on Lantes Road in Nairobi. His body was discovered at Kenyatta National Hospital mortuary on Monday by his family members. The literary veteran had been missing since Friday. He was 56 years old. His body is lying at the Kenyatta National Hospital mortuary.
Family and friends had reported Dr. Ken Walibora Waliaula as missing since Friday last week. Unconfirmed reports says he was knocked down by a matatu on Landis Road on Friday and rushed to Kenyatta National Hospital and unfortunately succumbed to injuries. President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto led the nation in mourning the late Walibora. In his condolence message, the head of state described him as a polished broadcaster and a prolific writer whose work will continue to inspire future generations. On his part, Deputy President William Ruto termed Dr. Walibora as a prolific journalist with a charming personality and humor. Dr. Ken Waliaula Walibora was born on 6 January 1964 in Baraki, Bungoma County. His family later moved to Kitale.
Ken Walibora was born in Kitale, but he described himself as a child of two worlds, that he was both an urban child and a country boy. That's how he would actually want to describe himself.
A trained teacher, he taught Kiswahili in high school between 1985 and 1986. He later worked as a probation officer at the Ministry of Home Affairs for 8 years before joining the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, KBC, as a Kiswahili radio news anchor, news editor and translator.
Mpendo mtazamaji, ni fahari yangu mimi Ken Walibora, mtoto mwalimu, kukuletea kwa mara nyingine Sema Nami.
Ken namkumbuka alikuwa ni mtu mzuri sana, tumewahi kufanya kazi naye katika chumba cha habari KBC, na alikuwa ni mtu anapenda kazi yake, alikuwa ni mtu anapenda watu, na alikuwa mtu mpole sana. Hata wakati mnaposhirikiana naye katika shughuli za kikazi, ushauri kwa njia ile ambayo ni nzuri kabisa.
Nitamkumbuka Ken Walibora kwa tabia yake ya utulivu na upole, pamoja na kwamba alikuwa gunge, alikuwa waria, alikuwa galacha katika tanzuhia, fasihi, pamoja na Kiswahili kwa ujumla. Lakini hukuwahi kumuona akijipiga na kujitanua vifua.
Alikuwa ni mtu ambaye iwapo una matatizo yoyote kikazi, unakwenda kwake, unamwambia bana mimi, ukimfuata ukienda kwake kumweleza kwamba mimi nina matatizo, maana mimi bado niko mchanga, anakusaidia na kuelekeza njia ambayo ni bora zaidi. Hata wewe mwenyewe baadaye unakaa chini unaona kwamba kweli alichokuelezea kilikuwa kina manufaa sana na kimekujenga, na vile vile pia kwa kufanya labda ufikie upeo ambao kila mmoja alikuwa anatarajia labda ungeweza kufikia.
Dr. Walibora was also a renowned author with over 40 titles to his name, including Siku Njema, a Swahili fiction novel published in 1996, which was a secondary school set book between 1997 and 2003, propelling him to fame. His other notable literary works include Kufa Kuzikana, Nasikia Sauti ya Mama, Ndoto ya Amerika, and Kidagaa Kimemwozea.
Alitolea mchango wake maneno kama vile constituency ni Profesa Ken Walibora ambaye alikuja na jina eneo bunge. Amechangia lugha ya Kiswahili kwa mapana na maarifu yake.
Of course, when I brought him on the literature program at KBC, the first thing that he told me said that, you know what, Hainga, this is home. I'm so proud that I'm home, because everybody actually began their careers in journalism, especially broadcast journalism here at KBC. And he was very proud to call KBC home, even though he had worked with these other media houses, but he always felt that KBC was home.
At one time, Dr. Walibora was a lecturer in the United States, rising to the post of associate professor in the Department of African Languages and Literature at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Until his untimely death, he was a lecturer at the Riara University School of International Relations and Diplomacy and director of Global and Language Studies Center. He will also be remembered for his contribution in, among others, books reviews and translating the Kenya's draft constitution into Kiswahili language. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
Here at KBC, our deepest condolences goes to the family, friends and well-wishers of the late Professor Ken Walibora. Now moving on to Jubilee politics. A section of Jubilee Party officials have accused the party's Secretary General, Raphael Tuju, and the National Chairman, Nelson Zuya, for engaging in what they claim is a political con game. This follows claims that they have orchestrated a coup in the party, replacing the National Management Committee officials. Jubilee Party Deputy Secretary General Caleb Kostani, who visited the office of the Registrar of Political Parties, said there are no documents to support the purported charges.
Jubilee Party Deputy Secretary General Caleb Kositany, in the company of two other Jubilee members, on Wednesday visited the Registrar of Political Parties office to seek clarification on a purported gazettement of intention to change the National Management Committee of the Jubilee Party officials.
We saw a gazette notice purporting that there was a meeting and there were minutes that were filed, which are the documents that the registrar used to gazette the change or the addition of new members to the National Management Committee of the Jubilee Party. At least she should have availed those documents at the minimum.
Without a backup of the minutes of the meeting that was supposed to have agreed on those changes. And that is what we have asked her for. And she has replied to Raphael Tuju, who says, I do not have the documents. I gazetted without the requisite documents. I do not have any minutes.
I will be doing another letter that will be delivered here for her to furnish me with the details of the documents she used that were filed by Tuju and the chairman, that the documents she used for her to gazette, that necessitated her to gazette the gazette notice for change of leadership in the Jubilee Party.
The leaders claim that there is a scheme by some individuals to institute a coup in the party.
We are calling on the Secretary General and the chairman. While all this saga is going on, they should step aside from their positions so that we have serious investigations going on in Jubilee and we get to the bottom of this matter. And we want to know where those minutes are, because it will help us to sort out political conmanship in our political parties.
Na sasa watu wengi wako na wasiwasi, watu ya Jubilee popote walipo, lakini tungetaka wajue ukweli imepatikana na tutafuatilia kwa makini.
The Registrar of Parties, however, says the party had submitted all the documents required in law, and that is why she sought the opinion from the party members. But Tuju, in a statement, defended his move, saying what was filed by the party were normal yearly returns that are required by law in terms of changes of office bearers, signatories to the accounts, and any other material issues that the register may require by law. The registrar had given those in the party 7 days to register their opinion on the intended changes, which lapses Wednesday. Kamche Menza for Channel 1 News.
Let us now have a look at the stories making news in Kiambu County. Joyce Ngugi has been sworn in as Deputy Governor of Kiambu County in a low-key ceremony presided over by Kiambu High Court Judge Christine Wanjiku. The new Deputy Governor pledged to work harmoniously with Governor Dr. James Nyoro and the entire county executive to regain the confidence of Kiambu residents. Joyce Ngugi took oath of office as Deputy Governor of Kiambu County, stepping into the shoes of Governor James Nyoro, who took over the county leadership following the impeachment of Fernand Waititu over gross misconduct, abuse of power and corruption allegations. Wanjiku promised to work closely with Governor Nyoro to ensure the county government execute its mandate as stipulated in the Constitution of Kenya.
I intend with the governor to deploy a complementary approach and not a competing approach when rendering services to the residents of Kiambu County.
The new deputy governor also vowed to explore ways of creating a more favorable trading environment that will attract investors to Kiambu County and at the same time create employment for thousands of youth. Until her appointment, Wanjiku was chairperson of the National Council for Children's Services.
Public trust comes first. I intend to diligently work with our able governor to restore and advance the public trust the people of Kiambu have in their county government.
Still in Kiambu County, a road leading to Riru town was cut off after the banks of Mukuyu River burst following heavy rains. Operations at the Riru Law Courts were disrupted and the local NG-CDF offices could not be accessed as water from the river spilled over and flooded the compounds after an overnight downpour. The Riru Kwamaiko Road was also cut off and suppliers of farm produce from the rural villages as well as boda operators were left stranded for hours. Area of Member Parliament Simon Kingara blamed a Chinese contractor for creating a makeshift diversion bridge that could not hold the raging flood waters.
Daraja ya kudumu imekaa zaidi ya mwaka moja. Kwa hivyo kila mara kukinyesha tunashuhudia janga hili, na ni ombi langu kwa contractor hasa Ministry of Transport, kwa sababu hawa watu wamekaa sana hawamalizi daraja na hii itatuletea shida. Hii barabara ndio tegemeo pekee ya kuingiza chakula na maziwa huku Ruiru. Saa hii hakuna hata gari hata moja usiku imeleta chakula.
Deputy County Commissioner Geoffrey Kithinji asked motorists to be cautious while using the road as residents and boda operators appealed to the government to open the new bridge to avert a tragedy. Fiona Shuru for Channel 1. We have come to the end of Good Morning Kenya news briefs, but for now we'll have a look at what is happening in the newspaper segment with In the Headlines. Doreen?
Yeah, and of course in the headline segment starts now. But Fiona, there has been stories, of course, matters to do with coronavirus is still taking center stage on our newspapers. And there's a story which will also be sampling. This is in regards to the people living in informal settlements. And the question is, which one comes first? Is it to get medicine, to get masks, or to get food on the table? Really difficult times for such persons living in informal settlements, Fiona.
Yeah, but I would say the first priority, especially with COVID, is how about let's maintain some hygiene. Yes, they're living in informal settlements, slums, but I feel like there's also a decor of hygiene in the slums too. So individually, I feel like hygiene should be emphasized a lot. Leave alone, okay, yes, there are these issues, monumental issues that happen that will take time, you know, and that are happening everywhere in the world. But right now, hygiene is everything. As I did, there was a picture on the papers of a family in one of the informal settlements, and they look like they're really doing everything in their power to, you know, prevent hygiene issues in their home. So I think that should not be an excuse. Hygiene is prime at this time, maybe. What do you think?
Well, in as much as, yes, you say it should not be an excuse, but of course, these persons are really having a tough time just choosing which one should I do first, because here you are with this 500 bob or 200 bob and you're wondering, will I get the mask? Will I get food? Will I get water? But let's see what more is on the People's Daily, because this is the first newspaper which we begin, we start with rather on our In the Headline segment, and on the front page of this paper, this is Corona ticking time, bomb in the slum, which is basically what Fiona and I were just slightly discussing a bit earlier. So residents in unplanned, crowded and unsanitary informal settlements turn blind eye to government guidelines on taming COVID-19 threat. They go about their daily businesses with a suicidal attitude and believe that this respiratory flu is a disease for the rich, even as 9 more cases were confirmed as of yesterday, bringing the total to 225. So it really is just, again, that issue of misinformation, as a good number, as it has been well stipulated in this article, think that it is still a disease for the rich. But there's a bite here also on the sidebar of the front page, and this is from what the CS said yesterday, that COVID-19 has hit home. So it says the CS has 225 total confirmed cases in the country as of now. 9 new people tested positive. This was yesterday. 53 recovered and 10 deaths. So that is where we stand in terms of figures as of now. Also, at the bottom end, this is Treasury seeks over 90 billion to fight this pandemic, where the government allocates more money, and supplementary estimates to health and interior ministries and departments leading battle to combat the killer virus. So this is just more of what the government as well as county governments are trying to do to help contain this disease. There's also a sad story here of outpouring of grief for fine scholar. This is in regards to the passing of Professor Ken Walibora, where he passed away on last week on Friday at the age of 56. But let's see what more is inside this paper. COVID-19 ticking time bomb in Kenyan slum. This is again a story which also was highlighted on the front page, and the health ministry's warning that Kibera slum in Nairobi is emerging as coronavirus hotspot has shifted focus to concerns that informal settlements are the weakest link in efforts to tame the deadly virus. This is because of their unplanned nature in this informal settlements, crowded, the informal settlements are crowded, lack of basic amenities and proper housing. So this is why it is becoming difficult even for these people living in this informal settlements. But the CS yesterday mentioned that as he was addressing the press during his daily briefs, he said that we have started surveillance work and our team is already on the ground in Kibera. We are trying to see whether there is any cause of concern. Of course, this also comes after he mentioned that the officials were already on ground in Kibera to conduct mass testing. Remember, he has really been alluding to the fact that now the disease is community centered. That means that it is not being imported anymore. So, of course, mass testing at least could be one of the things that could save us in terms of identifying the number of people that have been infected with this virus. There's also another story here still on persons living in the informal settlements, and this is low-wage earners hard hit by this virus. Again, this just indicates that poverty leads to fewer choices. So do you spend your money on food or medicine? Poor planning has also led to millions of people living in largely neglected, overcrowded settlements. So their houses are built on waste materials with little or no running water, electricity, garbage disposal, or sanitation. So this also social distancing has also become a bit difficult for persons living in these areas. This is, of course, the informal settlement. So this article continues to say that social distancing is next to impossible when a settlement can have just 400 toilets for 20,000 people. Remember, we're talking about ensuring that we keep basic hygiene in these times. But if 400 toilets is what can be found in a place where around 20,000 people live, so you can imagine how difficult that may be to just keep basic hygiene. But even before this pandemic struck us here in the country, such places erode the health of residents, causing causing and worsening ailments that include respiratory diseases. So this just goes to show you that it is becoming hard for persons living in informal settlements to at least adhere to these guidelines, just because of the kind of surrounding that they are living in. Another story here is again also in regards to the domestic violence, which has also been really discussed. There's also a discussion that Jane had this week in terms of the high cases of domestic violence that have risen so high when this pandemic began. So alarm as domestic violence cases rise. A sharp rise in domestic violence and sexual offenses has been reported since the onset of this disease, and government is now warning Kenyans against taking the law into their own hands. So the matter found its way into the Ministry of Health daily press briefing for the second time. Remember, the CAS, Dr. Mwangangi, had also announced this. The health CS, Mutahi Kagwe, also announced this yesterday, and now urging religious leaders to intervene, saying the violence that crept into Kenyan homes has to be stopped. So I just alluded to the fact that this violence has to be stopped, because it is not a time for us to be engaging in violence. It is a time for us to keep watch over one another, even as a significant number of people are now staying at home. I didn't test positive for coronavirus, says Saburi. This is the Deputy Governor, Kilifi County. Gideon Saburi yesterday told a Mombasa court that he never tested positive for this disease. So the governor, who is charged with willfully exposing himself in public while suffering from an infectious disease without taking proper precautions, will know if he is to spend more time in police custody. So he will know that today. Remember, the president was also proposing that he needs to be jailed for at least 10 years. But we'll see how his case unfolds. Will he actually be jailed? Will necessary measures be taken since he had tested positive? But he is saying that he did not test positive. So we'll see how that case continues to unfold. Kagwe says 9 new corona cases contracted locally. Just again, alluding to the fact that this disease is no longer imported, it is here with us. So the Health Cabinet Secretary, Mutahi Kagwe, yesterday reported 9 new coronavirus infections, all which were transmitted locally. The cases grew to 225, while COVID-19 death rose to 10 after another person succumbed to this virus. So the CS said of the 9 new confirmed cases, none had history of travel, neither were they in the quarantine centers, an indication that the respiratory disease is now no longer imported but spreading within communities. So this is why wearing of face masks is now really being advised, especially if you're using public transport. If you are in public areas, just to help protect yourself, because just from what you've seen from that article, that this virus is no longer imported, it is now community-based, meaning it is here with us. To a sad story now, outpouring tributes for linguist Walibora. The president yesterday led the country in mourning renowned author, scholar, and journalist Ken Walibora, who was killed in a road accident on Friday morning on Landis Road, Nairobi. So Walibora was a polished broadcaster, a prolific writer whose literally works will continue to inspire future generations. So this is what the president said yesterday, that he was a polished broadcaster as well as a prolific writer whose works will continue to inspire generations to come. But however, the death of this journalist, who died at the age of 56, came to the fore on Tuesday. Remember, he died on Friday, but his death, the announcement of his death came in on Tuesday evening when his body was found at the Kenyatta National Hospital mortuary. So the police said the accident occurred at around 9:20 a.m. when he was hit by a double-M passenger service bus whose driver actually attempted to escape from the scene. But remember that he will also be remembered for some of his famous books, like the ones that have just been mentioned also during the GMK news brief like Siku Njema, there's Damu Nyeusi, Mayai, Waziri wa Maradhi, as well as many other books. But we hope that justice at least will be found for this renowned journalist. But before we continue unpacking more of what is in the People's Daily, Jane.
We continue with in the headlines coming to the Daily Nation. Of course, on the front page is still in honor and a tribute of the late Professor Ken Walibora. His literary work has been celebrated over the years, and of course, history has also been written here. You can also get to read about it still on the Daily Nation. But looking at the main story on the front page this morning, IMF sees a bright light, or rather bright future for Kenya after this virus gloom. Now, this is in regards to Kenya's economy, which was supposed to grow, but due to this situation that we are in, it's going to take a big punch, but it is said to rebound and grow, or rather it is estimated, it is predicted by IMF, the global agency, that it will rebound and grow by 6.1% in the coming year. And when we go to this page that has this story, it gives a brief overview of how things have been so far since the year started, the estimates that were put forth, but now given that we are in the middle of this pandemic, the figures have also had to change. So what does this mean for the Kenyan economy? Not all gloom, as the economy is set to grow by 6.1%, is the main header there. However, the global financer says that this can only happen if politicians behave and stop disruptive politics. But looking at the recession that is said to be happening, and not just in Kenya, but the global recession, at a glance, in brief, let me just try to explain for you what this means for the common mwananchi, is that Kenya should expect budget cuts and a disruption of the welfare, the state, as the government struggles with the depressed earnings that we are going to be witnessing, as opposed to what was expected. And globally, the world will go through a recession that was only witnessed in the 1930s. And this time around, Kenya is also forecast to fall deeper into debt as the government borrows more heavily in response to the virus outbreak, and also looking at the government's, Jubilee's manifesto and their targets and the Jubilee's achievement track record. It is said here that this means that Jubilee administration will never achieve the promised double-digit growth, and that Uhuru Kenyatta's government will not deliver on the Big Four dream. Now, at a glance, this is what this story is supposed to mean, and this is as a result of this pandemic that we are in. This is just some of the consequences that our economy is going to suffer this year as we try to get back on our feet, but hopefully next year things are going to be looking better.
Moving on to the Standard newspaper, and I would like to dispense, first of all, from the front page of the Standard. We have highlighted the splash is Raila meeting stirs talk of new alliance. Talk of fresh political order gathers space after Easter lunch attended by ODM leader, a cabinet secretary and close friends of the president amid fallout in Jubilee. Raila meeting stirs talk of new alliance. And below we have pictured in a picture of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga towards the right with Kotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli at a past BBI rally in Narok. And there is a quote by Kotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli next to the picture at the bottom left. Says, and I quote, "It is true we met at my farm in Kajiado on Monday to celebrate Easter over Nyama Choma. We will consult regularly to make sure that the right person takes over from Uhuru in 2022. Also at the top, tragic end to prolific novelist Ken Walibora. Transition tributes pour in for celebrated author and journalist, the latest victim of reckless matatu drivers in Nairobi. This is on the front page of the newspaper. And you have pictured in, that is Ken Walibora himself, a great man, a professor, a novelist. To open the story, speaking first of all in regards to the meeting, in politics, Raila meeting stars talk of new alliance on inside the Standard newspaper. We have the headline there, Raila meets stars talk of new alliance. Trade unionist says ODM, Jubilee and KANU leaders working together on Uhuru's succession. Atwoli hosts Easter lunch for ODM leader and top politicians supporting Uhuru. And pictured in there, we have ODM leader Raila Odinga and Meru Governor Kiraitu Murungi at a BBI meeting in Kinoru Stadium that happened in Meru County. That was in February. And towards the right, on politics, Tuju now blames DP for dispute in Jubilee. Tuju now blames DP for dispute in Jubilee. Registrar wants ruling party to furnish her with documents on intended change of officials. And they have comments given by different leaders and different members who are also within Jubilee Party in regards to what is happening on the change that took place in the party. And we have a story on Ken Walibora that was highlighted on the front page. Inside the Standard, we have a two-page story on the man himself, a very comprehensive coverage there, giving us different leaders with their different messages of condolences. We have a tragic end for a man who couldn't stop writing bestsellers, Ken Walibora himself. We have different leaders, including Kiarie Kamau, the CEO of East African Educational Publishers, Gacheche Waruingi, the chairman of Phoenix Publishers, many other leaders at the top there, including the President Uhuru Kenyatta, ODM leader Raila Odinga, the Deputy President William Ruto, and other senators, together with governors. But still, on this story, shock as Walibora's body found in morgue 5 days after hit-and-run accident. Details of how it happened are entailed there. Shock as Walibora's body found in morgue 5 days after hit-and-run accident. And we have also, towards the bottom, journalist recalls time with top linguist. That is the story on Ken Walibora.
Moving on to what is happening on the Star, a story that Ram has highlighted. Jubilee Politics takes the lead on the Star today morning, says that the Plan allies say they will use illegal means to take control of Jubilee Party. Says 146 MPs support Ruto as DP plots of a Jubilee takeover. Registrar to make decision after reviewing protest letters. Now let's quickly have a look at what a sentence that they're saying concerning this issue to do with Jubilee Politics. Simple. Deputy President William Ruto is ready to take over the troubled Jubilee Party, and 146 lawmakers from both Senate and Parliament are on his side. On the page, well, we have Moses Kuria and MPs Caleb Kostani, Moses Kuria, and Kimani Ngujiri. Well, a quote from Caleb Kostani: the registrar has written to Tuju to request for documents required by Kostani because she doesn't have them. The question is, how did she gazette the changes? Yes, a lot is happening when it comes to Jubilee on the Star. Have a look at that. On the front page, I forgot to mention, they have a spread of how to control COVID-19. People at higher risk of COVID-19, older adults, heart or lung disease or diabetes. So kindly have a look at how best you could help yourself with this COVID-19 preparedness. Still on COVID, Donald Trump, US President, cash cuts to hit Kenya's COVID-19 war. I'll read a sentence. US President Donald Trump on Tuesday halted funding to the WHO over its handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Trump said that the Global Health Agency had failed in basic duty and it must be held accountable. Yes, Trump has ceased funding for the WHO. Lastly, for now, Ken Walibora's death takes the day, and I'll highlight what they say on the Star. How Walibora deconstructed the American dream in his art. Yes. How Walibora deconstructed the American dream. You dream of moving to the West, the United States in particular, calls that an illusion. So we have a very nice picture of him on the page. I'll read a sentence. The grass is not always greener on the other side, and the West is much worse. Professor Ken Walibora told a TV interview in 23. I'll highlight the last bit. He also worked as a Kiswahili reader in Kenya Broadcasting Corporation and Nation Media Group. Yes.
May his soul rest in eternal peace. Now, moving back to the Daily Nation, this is in regards to the directives that have been put out by not only the Ministry of Health here in Kenya, but the World Health Organization, which reviewed its guidelines in just trying to help us best protect ourselves when it comes to the spread of COVID-19, and this is the adoption of face masks. So in Nanyuki, there is a tailor who has targeted young ones as the virus against the war against the virus intensifies. So the face mask he has decided to venture into making face masks for children, and these are young boys and girls, because he feels children have been left out in this whole situation, because many a times you are walking in town, you see parents walking with their children, and yes, the parents have face masks, but the children are left exposed, and that was one of the reasons why Mr. Peter Minor shifted from making adult clothes, and he's also one of the 8 tailors that were trained in producing personal protective equipment at the Dedan Kimathi University of Technology in Nyeri County, and resolved to start making these masks for children, which come in, cartoon characters. They are shaped like animals or some cute little creatures that children can find attractive. And he did say that, this new idea is helping children want to put on these masks as opposed to the traditional what is being termed as surgical masks, which are a bit intimidating and threatening to the children. And of course, not many families can also afford to keep buying these face masks that are disposable. So he opted to try and make some of this for children, especially, which are reusable and cost less. And I think this is such a great step because, for children, they're one of the category that have been really left out in this COVID-19 conversation. Some of them are confused, they are scared. And when you just take a surgical face mask and you tell them you have to wear this, child, they get a bit scared. But if you give them something cute, they might just want to keep it on all day and stay safe. So kudos to Mr. Minor for trying to protect our children.
Yeah, and I was looking at how families have been moving around in different shopping centers. I was seeing even mothers, giving their children face masks. Some are even taking selfies with their face masks. So I think that's a very interesting story right there, Jane. Now, moving on to the Standard, we have yet another person who is trying to at least make things better for Kenyans when it comes to the issue of COVID-19. In the Standard, landlady waives rent indefinitely for tenants. That is right here within Nairobi County, and specifically in Kawangware. She will lose about 338,000 shillings each month from the 65 bed sitters in Kawangware. House owner made decision after bank reviewed her loan payment plan. Landlady waives rent indefinitely for tenants, and according to her, she says that she had some savings and decided to cater for the bills after the bank reviewed her loan payment plan, and she let the bank know that she would be unable to pay the installments, and they would allow her for a review in regards to that. And featured in there, we have the photo of Christine Karimi. She has waived the rent for 65 tenants living in her flat until the coronavirus pandemic is over. Quite interesting there. Moving on to yet another story, we have also, speaking of legends, inside the Standard, Kasongo sings his last note. His fame saw footballers, corporates, and boxers ride on his name. Mellow-voiced singer, composer, and guitarist, was famous for hits such as Shauri Yako, Uma, Samba, and Nabikate. Kasongo sings his last note. That is a story inside the Standard newspaper.
Well, having a look at the Star, back to face masks, yeah? The Star says arrests will begin. Wear a bra as a mask at your own peril, police tells Kenyans. So on the page, there's a boda rider wearing a bra for a face masks in Homa Bay County. Nairobi Police Boss Philip Ndolo maintained that those found wearing anything else other than a standard mask will be arrested. No exemption. Ndolo told the Star those bras and other things are not masks. Who has tested them? There is a reason why the Kenya Bureau of Standards has come up with set standards. Still on matters to do with COVID-19, KNCCI, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, they have a say in this. They say that, don't take unclean money for COVID-19 fund. Cautions KNCCI. Chamber says there's a risk of financial fraud and exploitation scams as people hold proceeds of crime, taking advantage, donate money to be written off in tax returns. Okay, so the emergency fund to fight the pandemic has been boosted by millions of dollars, and they're just asking, can this money be clean? Right next to it, University of Nairobi wants 2.5% of COVID-19 cash to go to medical research. The University of Nairobi has proposed 2.5% of funds to go into fighting COVID-19. On the page, there is an interesting photo story. Yes, a baby zonkey, half zebra, half donkey, walks behind its mother. Yeah, so the legs are striped, but it looks like a donkey. And it's with the mom. Very interesting. You wonder how a donkey zebra looks like, yeah? So, another story, man who killed his wife's lover guilty of murder. Yeah, a man who cut a boda rider with a panga on the head, killing him after he found him with his wife in bed, has been found guilty of murder. Jane?
Let's now have a quick look at county news from the pull-out segment on the Daily Nation. And we start with Homa Bay, where the fight against COVID-19 has suffered a blow as doctors begin a strike. So this has been termed as a major setback in Homa Bay after doctors went on strike over delayed pay and other grievances. Now, the doctors began the salary parade on Tuesday, that is a day ago, and the Kenya Medical Practitioners and the Pharmacists and Dentists Union County Liaison Officer, Mr. Amos Dulo, said that the doctors will not report to work until their grievances were addressed, and this is in regards to the commitment that he said the doctors had reached with the devolved government, agreeing that, all salaries starting the 1st of March 2019 should be paid by the 5th of every month. That is the situation in Homa Bay County. And also moving to another county here, we have Governor Wairia, where he did promise to bring change in Murang'a County, where he promised a 30-bed ICU unit in 21 days. 21 days, a 30-bed ICU unit in the war against COVID-19 is going to be set up. And he said that the county is planning to use its own engineers with local youths hired as laborers to cut costs and eliminate the need for any external contractors who could be brought into the picture. So he said this as he was also issuing a number of measures all in line with protecting the people and cushioning the residents from economic hardships during this time that we are going through as a country. And some of those measures included involved water companies. It did touch on food security. He also mentioned that they're going to be giving out 1,000 liters of sanitizers every week and distribute it for free to in the marketplaces and bus stops. And of course, ultimately, the 30-bed capacity ICU that is set to be completed in 21 days. And lastly, he's going to reach out to the technical colleges within his county and contract them to produce free face masks for the residents, all in an effort to cushion them and help them during this tough economic times that we're all going through as a country.
And now getting into the county news segment in regards to what's happening in different counties, I would like to start with Nairobi County. And inside Nairobi, we have a story there on Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko, highlighted in what's going on within the county of Nairobi. Together, we have Sonko refuses to let go of billions to city new team. That is in Nairobi County. Sonko refuses to let go of billions to city new teams. Governor declines to assent to bill handing over 15 billion shillings to the Nairobi Metropolitan Service That is a tug of war going on within Nairobi County. And at the top, we have senators reject bid to slash Nairobi's allocation. Senators have rejected a proposal to have Nairobi County's 15.9 billion shilling allocation withheld by the national government to fund transferred functions. That is inside Nairobi County. Sonko refuses to let go of billions to city new teams. What next? Get to read about that happening in Nairobi County. And moving on to yet another county, and this is Elgeyo Marakwet County. We have in Elgeyo Marakwet, speaking of solutions that we're talking about to curb COVID-19, well, in Elgeyo Marakwet, they have a very unique solution. Inside the Standard, elders turn to culture cast spell on COVID-19. The last time KO elders took such measures was in 1984 when a famine ravaged the country. Old men visit holy grounds to seek interventions from communities' deity in banishing virus. And we have pictured in there different elders meeting. They are trying to banish the coronavirus. Kapterik clan elders from Epke in Elgeyo Marakwet who practice traditional rituals from going to a shrine to cast coronavirus on Monday. And towards the left we have, that is Michael Kandie, who blesses their land to protect it from the killer disease, coronavirus. That is in Elgeyo Marakwet. Speaking of getting solutions, we have in Nakuru County, private school teachers lose April-May salaries. That is in Nakuru. Institutions that survive on fees paid by students have suspended tutors' contracts. More agony for workers. What next? Hundreds of private school teachers in Nakuru County have had their contracts suspended as the school shutdown heads to a third month. Private school teachers lose April-May salaries. That is in Nakuru County. And finally, let's head over to Makueni County and find out what's going on in Makueni County. Residents worried as sun wars return under curfew. The activity is happening in full glare of law enforcers. Authorities admit they are overwhelmed by the tactics sand harvesters used to access the rivers. Illegal sand harvesting along riverbanks in Makueni County is slowly creeping back thanks to the dusk to dawn curfew imposed to curb the spread of the coronavirus. That is happening in Makueni County as we speak. Speaking of solutions, as we talk about the dusk to dawn curfew, curbing COVID-19, it is actually bringing more problems in this county.
Well, on the Star, I'll start with some good news. There's enough maize to last till June. The country will have 18.7 million bags by the end of May, according to a report by the Ministry of Agriculture. There is a picture of farmers at Wave store in Sigor. Yes, have a look at what is happening on the Star to do with that story. Now, still on counties, Mlolongo cops accused of assaulting 5 children. Officers allegedly stormed in the children's home dorm, ordered them out and handcuffed. So on the picture, a dormitory at Liberty Children's Home in Mlolongo, Machakos County on Tuesday. So that's what's happening in Mlolongo County. In another county, we don't have bus fare. We don't have fair protests in Homa Bay. Doctors. The fight against COVID-19 in Homa Bay may be slowed down following complaints by doctors that their salaries have been delayed. Yeah, so doctors are like, we need our salaries, we don't have fare. That's in Homa Bay County. On the Star survey. Yesterday's question, do you like working from home? Surprisingly, 25% say yes. Yeah, guys like working from home. 75 are at work. Yeah, like people love going to work. So 75 say no, 25 say yes. Yes, they want to go to work. That's the point. So today's Star survey says, do you trust the sanitizer Matatu cruise use on passengers? Do you trust that sanitizer used on passengers? Jane?
Good question. Do you trust it?
But it is a sanitizer. See, a sanitizer is sanitizers.
Good question for our viewers. You can let us know, by the way, if you are using public transport during this time. Do you trust the sanitizer that is being used? All right, let us move on to some world news. And we'll start with one story that Fiona had actually mentioned from the start. And this is in regards to the U.S. President Donald Trump. So Trump World Health Organization fund cuts has been considered or termed dangerous. The embattled U.S. president accuses the health body of mismanaging, covering up spread of the virus. Now, he ordered a freeze of the funding that goes to the World Health Organization for what he termed as mismanaging. And what he actually said was the funding would be frozen pending a review into the World Health Organization's role in severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of the coronavirus. He said that, and he also accused the UN body of putting political correctness above life-saving measures. The outbreak could have been contained with every little death if World Health Organization had accurately assessed the situation in China, where the disease broke out late last year in December. He said this, and of course, so many other world leaders have come out to criticize him, just starting with the Secretary General, Mr. Guterres, saying that, this is not the time to cut funding or question errors. Also, Bill Gates has shared his thoughts in regards to this. He tweeted saying that cutting funding, the cutting of this fund was as dangerous as it was sound. Now, this cut in regards to World Health Organization funding comes as the U.S. recorded the highest number of deaths in 24 hours, which stood at 2,221 deaths. And this was reported by Johns Hopkins University from a previous high of 2,108 that was recorded on the 10th, and now bringing the total number of deaths that have been recorded in the United States to 25,758 people alone, which is now considered the highest in the world. So more of that is there on the County News segment of the Daily Nation.
In the world news of the Standard newspaper, getting a glimpse of what's happening in different regions of the world. I'd like to start with the United States, where we have the world roasts Trump for defunding WHO. This story is highlighted in different newspapers, in different dailies today. World roasts Trump for defunding WHO. Global leaders say decision was unnecessary. Pledge continued support for the UN agency. U.S. leaders halted aid to the UN agency over its handling of COVID-19, says money so far given hasn't been used well. They have featured in there photographs of WHO Director General, U.S. President, and the United Nations Secretary General. What is the WHO? Who funds it? Details of that are also highlighted on this story. But still, within the United States, let's head over to matters to do with politics, where we have highlights on politics. We have Obama on board. Biden gets major endorsement for race. This came as former rival Sanders threw his weight behind the former VP to take on President Trump on November the 3rd. And there is a quote by Barack Obama, and it is quoted there saying, "I believe Joe has all the qualities we need in a president right now." Obama said this of his former vice president Democratic candidate. Well, in other regions, just in brief, in Ghana, we have Ghana unveils an app to track virus suspects. Get read about that happening in Ghana. Also, briefly, we have in Lagos, we have 19 dead in Nigeria over a fish pond dispute. Police have been sent there so that they can be able to bring peace at the border, where we have a very big tribal clash happening in Nigeria. Also, briefly, we have in Harare, Zimbabwe, they are starting their mass virus testing. What is going to happen next in Harare? Also in the world news. And in Malawi, they are now going on to declare a lockdown. That is in Malawi in regards to the COVID-19 or the coronavirus. Also in Cape Town, concerns over infections in prison, infections over the COVID-19. That is highlighted. These are just in brief in what's happening in different regions of the world.
Now, as we bring this segment to a close on this end of things, before we cross on over to a final look at the People's Daily, a story that is in regards to the consequences of the lockdown that has been imposed in some countries here in Africa and also some cities. Here it talks of how you choose to starve or get sick, the case against lockdown in Africa. And this is the conversation that Fiona, you were having with Doreen earlier on as you were starting the segment, having to choose between food and hygiene or Medicare, which is such a sad situation. And I pray that, we don't actually have that ultimate choice to make as a people. No person has to make such a choice, choosing between to eat or to stay healthy. But here it says, pictured therein, we have, residents of Kibra, where they were lining up to register for face masks that were being donated in the past week. And just reading that story, it talks of how there were traumatic scenes in Kibra, it says that this will be the last time if the government fails to help millions of people in the urban poor category, because from what was seen during that in the past week, women and children fell to the ground, bloodied and trampled in a desperate search for food being handed out in a Nairobi slum as police fired tear gas and men with sticks beat the hungry. And of course, the words of Kennedy Odede, who runs the Shining Hope for Communities, say that if the government does not do anything in the next 2 weeks, things are only going to get worse in terms of hunger among the poor. And this is as a result of the reduced business that we are seeing, the reduced economic activity and shutdown of business in the city, which is most of the people in the urban poor category are really taking a hit from. So that's that from this side of things. Doreen.
Yes. So we continue with what's more on the People's Daily in terms of just highlighting for you some of the story that have been written on this paper. But let's move to something else, which is also what we had been talking about yesterday. This is in regards to the counties, because as of yesterday, as what we were looking at yesterday, from what the COG had mentioned, that counties do not have, they cannot handle this disease. And also what we saw yesterday is that this disease is also widely spreading to different counties. So it's no longer just the 4 counties that were regarded as hotspots which have this disease, but also different other counties across the country. But now the counties pledge 5 billion Kenyan shillings for COVID-19 for COVID-19 combat efforts. So this was mentioned by the Chair Council of Governors, where he said that also counties will contribute 5 billion shillings to the county government emergency fund as the devolved units roll out programs to supplement the national government's efforts in fighting coronavirus. So this means that it's not just a task of the national government, but also county governments need to be playing a role into ensuring that at least they contain this virus in their counties. And so through the supplementary budgets, the county governments have through the supplementary budgets, the county government have committed approximately 5 billion shillings to the county government emergency fund to respond to this disease. So most governments put this in their supplementary budget. So Oparanya also said that the contributions from the county government will range from 5 million to 600 million. He also continued to say that the counties will be expected to contribute according to their capabilities and no set figure. So no set figure has been given. So these counties will contribute according to their capability, which ranges from 5 million to 600 million Kenyan shillings. So this is what the counties are trying to do, at least to ensure they contain this disease. But also to some other news, remember that African countries are really also trying to see how best they can contain this disease by also just going on lockdowns. The recent one is now in Malawi, which has announced a lockdown that will begin on 18th of April. This lockdown will be for 21 days. But this article says that lockdowns may not be the answers to African countries. Lockdowns may not be the answer in African countries, simply because a number of people in African countries live from hand to mouth. So it says that for people living from day to day, a few days lockdown is the difference between poverty and starvation. And earlier on, we were looking at a story which was saying, especially for the informal settlements here in the country, which one will take center stage? Is it putting food on the table, or buying medicine. So this just goes to show that it's difficult for African countries to be on lockdown, because as it is, a number of people in this in the African continent live from hand to mouth. But that is where we wrap our In the Headlines segment this morning. Of course, we sampled for you some of the stories that have been making headlines or highlighted in the People's Daily, the Daily Nation, the Standard, as well as the Star. But that is where we close it for today. So whichever one suits you, you can get and read more of some of the stories that we have highlighted for you. But remember, we still have a lot more for you. Of course, after this break, we have the trending topics, just like Jen mentioned. Of course, we get to discuss some of the stories that really have been trending here in Kenya, as well as beyond our borders. Just put our minds together and, give it to you like how we think. And then we also have a discussion by the Wanavokali, which is an a cappella group. So they'll be talking to us about their journey as an a cappella group. They began in they formed the group in 2018. So how has that been like for them, even being chosen and selected for an award for a voice competition, which they in turn won, and they won a sum of 10 million shillings. So what does that mean for their career as a group? What are some of the steps they've put in place to ensure that even they continue as a group, given the fact that a number of people say that it is not easy for people to maintain a group, as people are, have different things they're doing here and there. So oftentimes we see that, yes, group starts, they give us music for a year, 2 years, 3 years, but after that, that is disbanded. So what is it for them? What kind of strategies have they put as a music group to ensure that at least they get to continue maintaining themselves as a group, as well as also some of the projects that they have for their group? Of course, you get to have this discussion after this break, so stay with us.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Pole sana. Nilikuwa nimeachilia mkono yake tu dakika moja tu, nikafesi side kuturn tena hayuko.
Unamaanisha Amani?
Ulisimama kubuy belt. Jemo mtu wangu amelost ukibuy belt. Jemo was taking her to school and lost her.
Lost her? How do you lose a little girl?
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Never say never, Mister, eh? Just pray that you don't fall into temptation.
Hey, Wasi Solomon. That is the third time you said pray today. Are you okay?
Of course I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be?
Guys, nowadays we have so many unfaithful people. So for my money to be safe, I must be one of the officials.
Atinini? Papa, my bonding, that can never happen.
What are you guys talking about?
Looks like teacher is worried about his health. He's not sure he will live long enough to witness something extraordinary he'll be doing in the future.
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
Hello, Tiffany.
Has he taken anything?
Hapana, hakuna kitu baadhi yako nacho.
Okay, sawa. Well, Steph over here is already as stubborn as Anjugunu.
Just happened to be very good at becoming rude as well.
How did you get this job? Are you family?
What family? Do you have a problem?
Why are you people shouting?
This man thinks that he can come from wherever and come and teach me how to do my job.
Jill, really?
Oh, hi.
I'm fine.
Do I know you from somewhere?
I'm your brother.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Na kutafuta nini? Mimi nataka kujua haki yangu nitaipata vipi?
Sasa wewe ungemuuliza mumeo marehemu. Mimi yanihusu nini sasa?
Shamuuliza.
Namwambia hilo mwende mbio. Ile mjue ni haki yenu.
Mama. Hapa lazima kieleweke. Lazima wajue marage ni mboga. Kabisa.
I have an important call I want to make, please. Daddy, before you make that call, please, can you listen to me?
Daktari, nisaidie mtoto wangu asife. Mtoto wangu asife daktari.
Hospitali tutafanya vile tunaweza, sisi madaktari tuweze kumsaidia.
Yes. Please listen to me, Father. I pray to you. I've been a sinner. Hata maji niliombwa nikasema sina. Always wanted to be a singer, but along the way I think focus ilibaki sina. Juu mi nilifocus na mambo ya dunia. I trusted in man mpaka roho ikaumia. And even though I grew nikijustify kulia, at some point it became so much kuvumilia. Juu I tried to take my life, nilichagua pills, kuna pain kwa knife. Heri nitoke, there's no need for life. I wanted to get away from this lethal life. Next minute mi nikajipata nina drip. Niko na magrip, kwa mikono nina drip. At the moment niliomba life, ikuwe ni dream. Too bad it was real, haikuwa ni dream. I think I'm now grown. Nilicheki vitu nyingi, I was so mind blown. Kingia kwa game nikachanganywa na fame.
Oh, that is Unioshe by Wanavokali, which is an a cappella group with it's a collabo they did with Kology. But they'll be telling us a bit about that as we move along with this discussion. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us on the show this morning. How are you all doing?
Hello. Hello.
And there's a challenge before we start. There's one of my colleagues who said that I should ask you guys to say your names in an a cappella way because you're an a cappella group. Can you guys do that?
Kama itawezekana.
Inawezekana. Ricky, wewe kwanza anzisha. Ricky, you can start. Inawezekana.
Hello. Haiwezekani because the internet is doing a lagging thing where if I sing and the other sing, it won't happen pamoja.
Okay.
But I can say, hi, my name is Ricky.
All right, so there's Ricky, there's Lina, Waithera, Chep, Mila, and Sam. So asanteni sana again for joining us this morning. But let's start from where you guys begin. In 2018, that is when you met during the Safaricom Live. I believe it's the Safaricom Traweza Live in 2018. So just starting with you, Waithera, how was that, for you guys coming together and then deciding that we'll form a group and we'll actually be doing music together? Talk to us about that.
Yes, as you said, we auditioned to be background vocalists for the Safaricom Traweza Live tour, and it was an amazing experience. We got to perform with artists such as Nyashinsky, Nameless, King Kaka, Akode, and a host of many other Kenyan artists, what we would call the best of Kenya. And from that, we got to experience Kenyan music in a new light. And after a while, after the tour ended, we decided we need a support system for ourselves within the industry. We need to create more opportunities for ourselves within the industry. So that's when we got together as Wanavokali, because tuliona we are good friends, first of all, and we support each other, and we have great chemistry pamoja, and we sound well together. So why not start something that could enable us to get more opportunity? And from that is when we started doing covers of the artists we had worked with. And it's taken off almost 1 year into it. It's been an interesting journey.
All right. Speaking of covers, just which brings me to my next question is that yes, you guys do a lot of covers, but which song would you say in particular at least attracted a lot of attention? Lina, talk to us about that. Which song attracted a lot of attention from the covers that you've done?
Definitely, I would say the first song that attracted attention from people was Salari. This is because it was the first song that we did as Wanavokali when we started, when we debuted as Wanavokali. Salari was our first song. And I can assure you that when we posted it on social media, the support we got was massive because we got 32K views, if I'm not wrong, guys. Yes? 32K views for the first video, and then Nameless reposted it and artists reposted it. So I would say Salari. Salari is the first song that gave us that traction that we needed from people. So Salari, definitely, yes.
Salari, definitely. And talking about support, do you feel like this is something that Kenyan artists, regardless of the genres they are doing, they lack in terms of people that can just support them, support their craft, enable them to move forward and at least become successful? Ricky?
I think wherever we've gotten right now as an industry, there's a lot of support coming from other artists. Even personally as Wanavokali, we definitely felt the support because a lot of, during the competition period, we required our fans to vote, and we had a lot of local celebrity repost our content and repost our posters and tell their fans to vote for us. So where we are right now as a period, as creatives right now, there's a lot of support coming from other creatives. And I think that's a very beautiful thing.
All right. Now, Chep, I'll come to you because this is a statement that you made in one of the local interviews where you said that our voices are instruments, and oftentimes in the industry, vocalists tend to be overlooked and there isn't much value seen in them. What exactly did you mean by that, and how so?
Okay. So, to be honest, especially when we went to South Africa, this is something we even got to see in a different light. Because in Kenya, vocalists are not really seen as a thing yet. You know, it's not really seen as something that you can thrive on and make your own livelihood, you know, just to be a vocalist. Because then people think you have to supplement it with an instrument or like us be in a group, or, you know, like even when you sing live, you know, not many people would go to see a show just to go see a vocalist, right? So we're just trying to redefine that and be the vocalist in Kenya, as
all right.
we would say yes. Just try to.
Okay, Mila, do you agree with what Chef is saying, that actually vocalists are not supported here in this country?
Not supported as such, really.
Okay.
But much value is not given to a cappella singing, like having it natural and having it raw. There always has to be an instrument or a beat from a DJ or something. And like, if you entered a matatu today, how many a cappella songs would you hear, like playing? Like people are just listening to the vocals only. You see, like that kind of thing never happens. And that is what we are trying to redefine as Wanavokali.
All right. So, Sam, coming to you, do you think that a cappella way of doing music is an area that is untapped in this country, in a sense that we need probably to start exploring music in that kind of area?
Yes, definitely. And that's the purpose that we had as we started on locally. We wanted to be like one of the first premier a cappella artists who really focus on vocals, because most of the time it's always about having a beat in the background, or maybe the vocals have too much auto-tune, and we're just trying to bring back vocals in the music industry. Like lately, vocals are missing. We are missing real singing, we are missing real harmonies, and that's what we're trying to bring back in the industry in Kenya. Yes.
Right. Wadera, do you think this is an untapped area, and probably what can artists do, at least to just try and explore different sides of doing music in different styles?
Yes, it's definitely untapped. I think the thing maybe we lack in Kenya is investing in your craft.
Okay.
Invest. If you know you want to be a musician, go learn, go take classes, just try and build yourself more instead of jumping straight into it. Because you find most people don't really invest in their craft. They just go out there and start doing. So I think as a person, as a musician, in anything you do, you need to invest.
Yeah.
All right. Invest is what you're saying. And since it looks like Lena is the most vocal in this vocalist group of viewers from what I'm seeing, so I'd like her to tell us. This thing. Okay, you guys, when you're starting, this was the style that you chose. Also, from what you've explained to us, wanting to do an a cappella, doing cover songs, which is an interesting style because more of what you're seeing right now, especially even in the music industry here in the country, there's the new wave, the gengetone kind of wave, which is now sort of like taking center stage. But your style of doing music, cover songs, when you were beginning, did you think that people really appreciate this kind of style of doing music? Lena?
Yes, okay, maybe when we were starting off, we had that feeling that yes, people would appreciate what we're doing, maybe because it was new, and also because the artists showed us they were supporting us. You see, the support that we got from the artists also was just a motivation that okay, if the artists are saying yes to this, because they were like, you guys should really keep on doing what you're doing, then we were like, the masses will accept it. If Nameless is reposting it, if Masi Masika is reposting it, then the masses will be like, what are these guys doing? What is this new thing that these guys are coming up with that we should listen to? So yes, definitely. When the artists supported us, we were like, yes, we're going to do it. Also, maybe when we're doing Twaweza Live, the compliments that we used to get, even from the artists themselves, they were like, wow, there's this new thing that you're giving us. When we arranged the vocals, you see, it was not just singing as background vocalists. There's this new arrangement that we would give and new feel that we would give to the vocals. And everyone was like, it's something different. We've not experienced it before. So that newness and people wanting to listen to us more, encourage us and showed us that, yeah, we can actually make it. Yes.
See, I said Lena
so
is
we were like, guys, we'll do for it.
We'll appreciate. See, I said that Lena is the most vocal in this vocalist group. See how she's really extensively explained for us that. But now, all right, coming to something else. You guys were chosen, or better still selected, for the for the Amazing Voice competition at a time when you guys were just probably, if I may say, 4 months or so old. What did this mean for you, given the aspect that at least it was a time when you guys were just starting and then being selected for such a big competition as that? Chep?
Okay, I'm always the one answering this question, and I give the same answer all the time.
Okay.
It was amazing. It was mind-blowing because, when we auditioned, by the way, not all of us wanted to audition because Lena and I didn't want to, but the others, yeah, so we just did it. And then for us to get picked to represent Kenya, it was amazing. Along with 2 other groups, Duara Harmonies and Solid Rock Band. So when we went to South Africa, it was just eye-opening because now we thought in Kenya we were the it thing, So going there and then find the other groups that sing better than you guys and way better than you guys, it was eye-opening.
Okay, so all of you smiled when Chep said that her and Lena did not want to audition. And just let me get from you, Mila, why were all of you smiling? Because they didn't want to audition. What was the thing?
Okay, it's because indifferences cannot miss out in a group.
Okay.
And also, it was something that almost came out of nowhere. And we were just a new group. So, okay, even us who had accepted, we were a bit skeptical about it. We were like, you know what, the best thing we could do is actually try it out. If it fails out, like if we don't cut for the audition, then at least we tried. But if we do, you can imagine the amount of opportunities this could present for us. So it was like 50-50 kind of thing, and it actually went through and it actually worked out. So that's why we were all like, at us, we were in a better position, but it's just because we were like, no, we have to try.
Yeah.
And it was like 4 against 2, so they had like to just board our boats and sail with us.
All right, and also you guys won, but we'll be coming to that a bit later. But now let's talk about how you choose the kind of songs that you do, because you've done Salari, you've done Kwaheri, Malaika, even African Queen by Two-Face, and also other couple of songs that you guys have done. So how do you decide that, okay, we'll do this song, we won't do this one, we'll do a cover of this one, let's rethink for a while? Sam, talk to us about that, how you choose the kind of songs that you guys settle on doing.
Are you talking about during the Old Mutual experience, the Amazing Voices experience?
Yeah? Keep going.
Are you talking about the Old Mutual, during the, okay, let me say during the competition?
Not during the competition. Sam, in terms of the kind of cover songs that you do, because you've done a couple of them, like I was just mentioning. So how do you choose?
Okay. First of all, we began with songs that you already knew, like, because we are going by the songs we did during the Safaricom Together Live. So we are doing songs that we already know, that we already at least familiar with. And furthermore, these are songs that are hit songs in Kenya, and people would actually relate to them, and people will actually appreciate them. And these are songs that everyone at least knows. So we just started by the songs that we already know, that we're already comfortable with, and we already know the harmonies. Like the harmonies are already down, and so we just went by that. Yeah.
All right. Also, in as much as yes, that is how you choose your songs in regards to the songs that at least people already know, the songs that both of you know, but in terms, because at least we tend to know that sometimes there may be a bit of conflict. Like probably the three of you would say, okay, let's do Salary. The three of you say, no, let's not do this one, let's do that one. So how do you deal with that as a group?
Compromise. We just compromise, and for that, yeah, just compromising and just going, put aside egos, put aside conflicts, and just come as a group. And even sometimes the process of majority wins. It's a democracy in our group. And so that's how we went by choosing those songs. Yeah.
All right. You are 2 guys and 4 ladies. Ricky, does that bring some bit of conflict in the group, even when you make decisions on whatever thing that concerns the group?
Well, I wouldn't say...
Yes, Ricky?
I wouldn't say any of the conflicts we've had so far as Wanavokali, any of them have I wouldn't say any of the conflicts we've had so far as Wanavokali. None of them have involved whether it's the boys against the girls, because at the end of the day, we're all just singers, we're all just creatives.
All right.
And at the end of the day, we all know what, we all want. So as Sam said, it's usually a voting system. Once you decide, the majority wins. So if 4 against 2, the 4 will have their way.
So it's not about gender, we are girls, they're ladies, it's all democracy.
We're all human beings.
None of that.
All right, so you recently did a collabo with Kolo G, a gospel artist. Tell us about how you guys met to a point that you even decided, you know what, let's do this collabo. Mila, talk to us about that.
We met Kolo still during Safaricom Together Live back in 2018.
Okay.
And by then, he was also more into videography and photography. He was in charge of media for the entire tour. And during that time, we realized, guys, let's expatiate on our networking. So everyone we met, from our MD, who is Sedo, from the artists, all of them, from the band members to everyone, we're just establishing contacts and keeping contact. So we followed up with Kolo G later on, and we actually met one time at Sedo's studio, and he wanted to do a song, and he wanted this choir and choral part, and we're also there. We're like, okay, us guys are not strangers, and we've always said that we're gonna do something together, and that is how we ended up doing Unioshi with Kolo.
All right, so Lina, do you guys plan on doing more collabos with more artists? And if yes, which kind of artists would you like to collaborate with, and why?
Yeah, so first of all, we're not only planning to do collabos with these artists, but we're also planning on working on original content as Wanavokali. Definitely, the world is wondering, what is Wanavokali going to come up with? So yes, we're coming up with original content first, and then we will do collabos. Definitely, we want to work with Sauti. I would say Sauti Sol, because Sauti Sol is a group that we've really been looking up to. This is because of their vocal prowess, their professionalism, their seriousness when they're doing music, their history also as a team. It is a story that Wanavokali can relate to. So that is one of the reasons why we would want to work with Sauti Sol also. And also, as we said, we are promoting Kenyan music and also selling Africa to the world. Sauti Sol is actually doing this. They're coming up with talk of Susanna, talk of Lazizi when they started out. So yes, Sauti Sol. Nyashinsky is another artist that we would want to work with too. This is also because of his vocal prowess, his arrangement, his professionalism. Did you watch his concert recently? You see, these are the artists that we would like to work with. It was fire. And then also in the plans for Wanavokali is to work with a live band. And these artists, as I've mentioned, if you go to their live events, you would realize that their live bands are top notch. So definitely Nyashinsky, Sauti Sol.
All right, so Lina, you've just talked about the fact that yes, in terms of the artists that you guys would like to collab with, and you've mentioned that because of also the kind of vocalists, the kind of music that they do. But coming to you, Waithera, is this the only criteria that you guys pick in when you want to do collabos, or when you're thinking of doing collabos with other artists? And if there are any other criteria, tell us about which other criteria you look into if you want to do collabos with other artists. Waithera.
For us as a group, we want to be one of Kenya's biggest musical exports. Like tunataka watu outside of Kenya, in Africa and in the world to know us. So one of the things we look at is also how people like this can be able to elevate us to that status. Because people like Sotiso are Africa renowned. They're almost world renowned at this point. They're our biggest Kenyan group. So can you imagine the platform that we'd have also working with such big artists? So we look at things like that, people who can elevate us to the next level. Yeah.
All right, and even as you're talking about challenges, especially for people that are doing music in a group or in a team, sometimes there's this aspect of, sai niko free, saizi Lina yuko, sai nafanya hii. How do you guys deal with that? Like, for instance, if you say that tutafanya hii na hii at this point, and then it turns out that probably one of you or two of you are not pretty available at that particular time. How do you guys deal with that? The challenge of time in terms of how you do your practice or any other project that you might have as a team? Is this for me? Lina, you can tell us about that.
Oh, okay, yes. So as you're saying, it's true. First of all, Waithera has always said this, we are individual artists. We do different things. Like Mela will have a gig, I'll be having a gig. Waithera, Ricky will be doing his musical chef some. But now there's also something that we call quorum. This is something that Ricky spoke about. We usually have this vote of 4 against 2. So if it is 4 against 2, and let's say I had a gig or I had something that I was doing, then I'll just have to come down and say, you know what, guys, we're still going to meet, because 4 of us are for us at KNT for rehearsals, let's say, for example, you see. So it is usually a vote, and you just have to respect it, because for us, majority wins. So it's 4 against 2. And also, I think now where we are at as Wanavokali, we've realized that it is also a priority, because when we were starting out, yes, we were doing other things, but now Wanavokali is also starting to become a priority. So you also have to put it in your plan, and then the forum thing will, if it's 4 against 2, then you just have to bow down and say, you know what, I'm going to cancel my other things, and I'm going to come for the Wanavokali rehearsals, or the commitment that we have as Wanavokali.
All right, so it's all democracy in your team, which is a good way to go, especially as a team. But coming to you, Chep, Waithera had mentioned that you are also planning to write your own music as Wanavokali. How soon are you planning to start doing this as a team? Chep?
We've already started, we've already started writing our music, and it was interesting because we were trying to figure out how we can sound, because we are all individual artists and we each have our own sound. So that was something interesting, trying to see what we can do as a group, come up, and we will hit the studio soon, because that was one of the things we were hoping to do with the money that we had won from Old Mutual's Amazing Voices competition. Every time people would ask us, what would you guys do if you won? We would say we want to record an album, and that is what we are going to do. So expect original music from us soon.
All right. So I know earlier on we talked a little bit about support and support systems, especially for Kenyan artists. But you as a group, who would you say that was your biggest support system as a group? So who will answer this? Mila, tell us, who was your greatest support system as Wanavokali, a cappella group?
Really, I cannot point this out to just one person, because in as much as we're 6 people, we have also been working with a team. Like we would have someone like Godot at Atville provide for us a rehearsal space for free. We would have Sedo saying, okay guys, come, let's do a song. We would have Kolo say, I will shoot, if your cover is ready, I would shoot a video for you. Like the list is endless. We would even have artists who have been willing and continuously have supported us and posted our videos. And not even artists only, like people like Njugush, we have Yes Nameless, we have Yashinsky at some point, we have Masmaseka, like the list is endless. Like really the support we've been receiving so far has been because of just many people and individual people in different fields, even makeup artists who are coming up and saying, okay, if you want to do a video, we're gonna give you guys makeup for free. You see, like the support has really been. Let me just say Kenyans, if I could summarize this into Kenyans, because even when we're doing mutual guys, we wouldn't have won if Kenyans would not have voted for us, really. The kind of support they showed us was just unbelievably amazing. So thank you, Kenya, for believing in us, and just thank you for having our backs each and every time that we have needed you to be there for us. You have shown us that you have our backs.
Well, the way Sam is agreeing with you is like, you know, as in really, this guy really came through. They came through. Sam, do you want to add into that?
It's true.
Sam, do you want to add into what Mila has just said?
Come again?
I'm saying the way you're really saying yes, as Mila was talking, is like, yes, this guy really came through for us, as in, wa kama hawangekuwa. So do you want to add more?
There's something Chef said once, that even in Kenya, like working as an individual it's hard to work as one, as an island. You need a village behind you. Like, you need to work. Collaboration is the best thing in working in Kenya, because it's really hard for you to survive as a solo artist if you work alone, if you don't work with other people. Like collaboration and having a network system and working with other people, that really helps you and takes you further as a Kenyan artist. So,
all right.
Ilitusaidia sana.
Okay, so as we bring this conversation to a close, and I think Ricky is the one who hasn't talked as much, you know, recently. Probably he can tell us. Yes, you guys won the 100 million in the just concluded the competition, which is the African, the Old Mutual Amazing Voice competition. What does this mean for your career as a group? You know, winning this huge sum of money, and also the fact that you were the first. This was the first season, and you were the first winners of this competition. What does this mean for you as a group? Winning this huge sum of money, Ricky?
Even like from the beginning, from the minute us guys decided to audition, we knew that this was going to be a very huge undertaking for us as Wanavokali, because it was a chance for us, while still very young, for us to take Wanavokali to a regional platform, to an African platform where people outside of Kenya can get to view us. So when we were in the competition, we really started to get to the final, so at least we can be able to show what we have as Wanavokali. And getting through the finals and just getting Kenyans to vote for us and finally getting the title, Old Mutual's Amazing Voices, plus the money was just overwhelming. And like we can't even we are still stuck in that days. And as Chep said, we've been waiting on that money to work on original music which we can release to Kenyans and to our new fans across Africa, across the world. And just having that title is a very, we are so happy that we get to represent Kenya. We got to show that Kenya is a country that has musicians and has vocalists, and we can be competitive in the region that is Africa, and we can support and show who Kenya is. So a lot of beautiful things have really come out of all this experience.
All right, so thank you so much guys for making time for us. And remember that challenge still stands. Tutapata tu na mtafanya hiyo ya kusema jina zenyu ina nakapela we. We'll still get you. But I've been speaking to the one. All right, so I have been speaking to the Wanavokali a cappella group, which of course comprises of Waithera, Mila, Chep, Sam, Ricky, and Lina. This is a group that of course began in 2018. They've just been doing cover songs and doing it great. Recently won an award, just telling us about their story, their journey in doing this style of music. But we still have plenty more after this break. Like I promised you, we still have trending topics. There's still another interview. But we take that break. This is Good Morning Kenya. Stay with us.
Listen to me, Father. I pray to you. I've been a sinner. Hata maji niliombwa nikasema sina. Always wanted to be a singer, but along the way I think focus ilibaki sina. Juu Mi nilifocus na mambo ya dunia. I trusted in man mpaka roho ikaumia. And even though I grew nikijustify kulia, at some point it became so much kuvumilia. True. I tried to take my life. Nilichagua pills, kuna pain kwa knife. Heri nitoke, there's no need for life. I wanted to get away from this lethal life. Next minute mi nikajipata nina drip. Niko na magrip, kwa mikono nina drip. At the moment niliomba life, ikuwe ni dream. Too bad it was real, haikuwa ni dream. Yeah. I think I'm now grown. Nilicheki vitu nyingi, I was so mind blown. Kingia kwa game nikachanganywa na fame. Kiburi kubwa kubwa nikatumia madem juu. Monday to Monday nilijipata kwa klabu. Nikajifanya mjanja nikapigana na babu. And back home mother alikuwa na tabu. Sikujali chest up nikakuna mashavu. Then nikaanza kupiga injili. Haikuwa kwa roho ama mwili. As long as ilikuwa kwa akili nikaifanya biashara injili. I used to work for my benefit, ndiyo mini fit. Right now, naomba uvumilivu, patience and kindness nisije kusikia wivu. Yes. Please listen to me, Father. I pray to you. Apology. Nimelan kutulia, nimelan sifai kumix na mambo ya dunia. Nimejua that peace and serenity is better than tabia zingine za celebrity. I wanna stay true to your word, be faithful and deep in your word, cause no matter zile vitu nilifanya, you stayed by me. Ndio maana mimi nasema
Lord, you never give up on me.
Yes.
And you see me for me.
You see me for me.
When I'm down on my knees. How can this always be?
That you love me for real, that you love me for real. That you, Lord,
love me for real.
Apology.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make us new? This child that you've delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to our blind men? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm the storm with his hands? Did you know that your baby boy has walked your angel's shroud? This sleeping child you holding is a great I am. Maria, Maria, you see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. Maria, Maria, believe, the dumb will speak the praises of the Lord. Amen. Maria, Maria.
was the only passenger. The few people passing were not going to my direction. Others needed a full bus, so it couldn't take me alone. He believed the bus will be full by the end of the moment. He keeps calling, beba, 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 beba. Continues calling, beba, 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 beba. He keeps calling, beba, 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 beba. Continues calling, beba, 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 beba. He now already said the fare. Still 2 people in the bus. He keeps calling hopefully. Never lost the patience though he was tired under the hot sun. He keeps calling more and more as the bus goes on and on. People boarding more and more. Finally he finds the light at the end of the tunnel. He keeps calling, beba, 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 beba. Continues calling, beba, 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 beba. He keeps calling, beba, 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 beba. Continues calling, beba, 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 beba. He keeps calling, beba, 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 beba. Continues calling, beba, 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 beba. He keeps calling, beba, 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 beba. Continues calling, beba, 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 beba. He keeps calling, beba, 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 beba. Continues calling, beba, 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 beba. He keeps calling, beba, 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 beba. Continues calling, beba, 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 beba. He keeps calling, calling. If you have an opportunity.
That is Sam Kule, ladies and gentlemen. He is the man with the bass. The big man himself joining us this morning. Remember, it's all about Entertainment Thursday, this fine Thursday morning. If at all you've been walking around the streets of Nairobi, specifically in town, you might have passed by and seen him do some country music. Sam Kule, ladies and gentlemen, is on joining me this morning. Karibu sana Sam.
Asante.
How are you doing?
I'm very fine.
Poa?
Poa sana.
Country music. Why did you choose country music?
Well, I love country music originally, like with the fear of parents, with the respect of parents, with the feeling in music. Like it's the old music. Like I remember when I was very young, even when I'm not understanding what is in a song, like we used to listen to this Coward of the County, like you hear on the radio, like it's like a pass of like Coward of the County. So, and you just grew up just with that.
And you loved it.
Yeah, so these across the bridge, this world is not my home. They are always in churches, they are always everywhere. So we were in a box of country music and I couldn't survive.
Can you sing Coward of the County? Because we can just try it, the first verse and the chorus. That is Coward of the County. Playing here on KBC Channel 1. Sam Kule.
Everyone consider him Coward of the County. Never stood a single time to prove they can wrong. His mama name is Tommy, but folks just call him Hero. Something always told me they were reading Tommy wrong.
That's right.
He was only 10 years old when his daddy died in prison. I took care of Tommy, cause he was my brother's son.
Oh yeah.
I still recall the final words my brother said to Tommy. Son, my life is over, yours just begun.
Chorus.
Promise the sun not to do the things I've done. Walk away from trouble if you can. Now we don't mean a week if you turn the other cheek. I hope you're old enough to understand. Son, you don't have to fight to be a man.
Remember, we are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We are live also on our website, www.kbc.co.ke. If at all you have any comments, drop them down in there on the comment section. Even the hashtag is Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Tag me at Ramaguko, at Jane Wambui, at Dorina Range. Na wanakupata wapi kwa Twitter?
Sam Kule Instagram, Sam Kule Twitter, Sam Kule YouTube, Sam Kule Facebook.
Tag him also as you give us your comments. What do you think about this guy's music? You know, he's very fantastic. Kama umeona kwa barabara, some people have been, you know, giving you so much, you know, in terms of the appreciation that they give. But Sam Kule, let me not take us too far. I would like us to go back in time. How did it all start? That you found yourself, you know, unaenda, you're going to start, you know, to sing on the streets of Nairobi. How did it all start from there?
Yeah, so sometimes I say some ignorance is very important. And some people don't want to take a chance or opportunity of ignorance. But ignorance has a lot of opportunity. Like I didn't know much about voice. Like
I
didn't know that someone can learn voice. I used to think that people who sing very well, they were born like that. I didn't know that it is something that you take a practice. So I had a lot of ignorance about music. I had a lot of ignorance about life. Most especially when I came to Nairobi, I saw the only opportunity that I can take, that I can be proud of, is to sing on a stage. Because one thing I used to love is, I love Western, like American movies.
Western country.
Yeah, so I used to watch some artists performing on street and some superstars joining them. So I came to love. I said, if I can only do this anywhere in East Africa, I'll be proud of that. So from when I was young, I used to sing in class. Till some of the teachers used to punish me, others could nickname me with some names of songs. Like there's my teacher who used to nickname me Queen of My Heart.
Queen of My Heart.
Yeah.
There's a song, Queen of My Heart.
Yes, I used to love the song.
Okay. And so you started singing and you liked how other artists were doing it. Like, which artists did you see that were giving you that inspiration to become a musician?
Mostly, this new musician is called Passenger. He has been I follow him too much. He has been a street musician in Europe for more than 9.5 years. But when he made it, you can't believe it. You can't believe it. Like, also Justin Bieber. Like the first time when I saw Justin Bieber in around 2010, I said, "Hey, this young guy is singing so well." Justin Bieber. Like, so when I look at his story, he used to sing on a street, and I saw him one day. He found where he used to sing a young lady playing a violin there, and he appreciated that young girl. Like, I used to see some clips. Like, I don't know whether you've ever watched this movie. It's called August Rush. August Rush.
Yes, I've watched it.
Sure.
Yes.
Like, this guy used to love music, and I used to love music, but I was always looking for a door where I can do that thing full time, where I can be doing it anytime. And sometimes even if you bring me a job that is not in line with the music, honestly, it's going to be a complication.
Itakuwa ngumu sana because yako ni muziki.
Mimi na music.
You said that you came to Nairobi, and that's when you started singing. When did you come to Nairobi? Which year approximately? Around which year?
Yeah, I started coming to Nairobi in around 2011, but officially to come to say, I have chosen and I've loved this city. Let me come and let me do music in this city.
Yes.
It was 2015.
2015. And how was it now, your journey, you know, singing on the streets?
Yeah, it was really smooth because I remember I didn't know that I would get anyone to sing for. So I just walked out from the house with my guitar. I passed at River Road. I moved River Road. I didn't know how to approach any person. My Swahili was very poor.
Ulikuwa unajua lugha gani back then, at that time?
Of course, in Uganda, we speak Swahili for business. You're struggling to make sure your product buys. Like for me, I come from the border of Uganda and Congo, and you're struggling to make sure your product buys. That's when you speak Swahili.
So you're Ugandan or Congolese?
I'm a Ugandan. Though. My mother is a Congolese. I'm a Ugandan. But we do a lot of transaction at the border.
I have a friend who says that most Congolese have a lot of good taste when it comes to music. So he normally makes a joke and says that the devil might have fallen in the Congo forest. That's why most Congolese love music. So your love for music came in naturally from within yourself.
Yeah, I really think my love of music is mine. I'm not saying like it originated from it's maybe blood of Congo, but my some uncles in my family they used to sing before, and me myself I love music personally. Like it is rare me to spend like 2 hours not having headsets in my ears or not listening to music. Actually, I can live in a house for a week with music, even if no phone call, no friend, no what, but music is playing in my ears.
It has to be there. So the reception when it comes to singing on the streets of Nairobi, how did people receive you? Comparing it from the first day you started till the last day that, okay, not the last day, but coronavirus is there. So we can say maybe till the very few days that, before people are told, to go back home. How was the reception from people?
The reception was really good. You know, one thing I've loved about this place is that people appreciate and people are civilized. You know, when you are in a community where people are free, music flows. Music flows. Like I've not got maybe what people call challenges. I've not got them. I think
you haven't.
I haven't got them.
Do you remember the very first song you sang on the streets of Nairobi?
Yeah, of course.
Or one of the first songs?
Yes.
Which one was it?
It was Good Morning Beautiful.
Sing us. Give us that song. Good Morning Beautiful.
Like ladies used to love the song. Good morning, beautiful. How's your night? Mine was wonderful. You by my side when I open my eyes. See your sweet face. It's a good morning, beautiful day. I couldn't see the lights. I know different now. I had no reason to care. Since you came along, I can't face the dark. So I know you'll be there. Good morning, beautiful. How's your night? Mine was wonderful. You by my side when I open my eye. See your sweet face. It's a good morning, beautiful day.
Good morning, beautiful.
Good morning, beautiful.
How is it when it comes to, the ladies outside there when you're singing on the streets, some of these love songs, they must have been attracting, people towards you.
Yeah, not really the way it sounds. It's like music is like you a mirror. Music like you a mirror. A mirror has to be on a wall.
Yeah.
People come and see their faces. they go. You don't need to take the mirror. Like
so music is like a mirror for some.
Yeah, it's like a mirror, okay? It's like a picture. So music pleases people. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm at this side, they're at the other side. I don't know how people feel, but like most of the times when I'm singing, when I'm performing, I'm smiling with people. It's communication. You're smiling with the person. It's like you are making love. You're making love with someone because you're singing. When you're singing, you're making love.
You're trying to communicate something to them.
You are trying to communicate.
You're trying to show something towards them that they should see.
Even when the song is having a sad message, of course you have to show that message to people. Okay.
So you've also sung sad songs at.
Yes.
People have cried when you sing.
Yes. I've sung some songs like people have lost their friends. People have gone through challenges. Like I remember my friend called me and said, "Sam, can you come and sing for this friend of mine? She has lost someone." And I let it be. I sang songs like "Let It Be." At the end of the song, it's a sad song. At the end of the song, someone is already
crying
in the motivation, feeling like, oh, wow, has even forgotten the problem.
Which song would you say, since you started singing, was one of the best songs that pushed you towards fame, that people now started recognizing you? Which song was it that when every time you sing, people demand more of that piece?
Yeah, people love so much Gambler.
People love Gambler.
People love so much Gambler. I love Let Her Go. But the audience of Let Her Go and the Gambler, of Gambler is high. Yeah, very many people love the Gambler.
I don't know you from watching from home. Do you love Gambler? Well, can you give us that piece, Gambler? I'm really interested in hearing that.
On one summer's eve, on a train bound for Norway, I met up with a gambler who was too tired of sleep. So we took time to stay at the windows of the darkness. The Bodom overtook us. He began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made my life reading people's faces, knowing you all the culture, the way they hear their eyes. So if you don't mind to say, I see you're out of faces for a taste of your whiskey. I'll give you some advice." So I handled in my bottle, drank down my last swallow. Then he bought the cigarette, asked me for a light, and I got there the quads. His face no expression. Say if you gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play. You got to know when to hold him, know when to fold him, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting on a table. There is time enough for counting when the deal is done.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
You modulated there. My colleague Jane is also watching, so I know she's falling in love with the song.
Well, thank you.
Can you sing "Let Her Go"?
Wow, Let Her Go. I really love the song so much. I just love the song so much.
You love the song, huh?
So much.
Dedication to somebody.
You only need the light when you span alone. Only need the sun when you start to snow. Only know your lover when you let her go. Only know you'll be high when you feel low.
Only hit the road and you're missing no home. Only know you love her when you let her go. When you let her go. Staring in the bottom of a glass, hoping one day you make a dream last. But dream comes slow, it goes so fast. Whoa. See when you close your eyes, maybe one day you'll understand why everything you touch surely dies.
That is Jane.
See, you only need the light when you stand low. Only need the sun when you start to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you be nice when you feel low. Only hit the road when you miss no. Only know you love her when you let her go. Whoa. When you let her go.
You know, I love the second verse. Huh?
The second verse will come in the next.
Never the touch and the never this. Cause I miss you so much.
I love this song. One thing is that it talks about after you've neglected someone or something. Like, I don't know what you've ever lost in your life and you say, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, for example, it talks about lady. I always say it's not a love song.
Yeah.
But it talks about the lady. Like, there's a lady that you've ever lost in your life. Maybe you are feeling you want to show her that you're someone. Then like you lose her. When you go, that's when you remember why she has been how she has been important in your life.
And that's one problem that men have. I don't know if it's in most men. Unasema to let her go. Acha aende. Alafu 1 week, 1 month later, sometimes 1 year later.
Yeah, you start making call. How are you doing? How do you feel? Are you fine? Like, so it happens.
Only know you love her when you let her go.
Only you know when you let her go.
Speaking of letting things go, you're talking about things that we are losing as people. But I want to talk about things that we are losing even as a nation. Look at the coronavirus. Most people are losing a lot. A lot. People are losing families. People are losing friends. People are losing businesses. What would be your message to Kenyans, especially in a time like this?
Yeah, this is a battle. This is a war, and good thing, each and of us is a fighter. I really thank the doctors who have risked themselves in this crisis. Before, we only knew that the soldiers, people who are holding guns, they are the only heroes.
Yeah.
But now you've seen it. Even doctors are heroes. If someone can know that this thing is risky, but can come and
they're the ones who are putting their lives on the line.
Yes. So we used to undermine not considering these people. But till the situation came, it's when we. So it is good you appreciate someone.
Appreciate people.
Even if someone has done little for you, but you never know what someone is going to do for you in the next in the next day.
So learn to appreciate people.
Yeah,
no matter how big or small you regard them.
Yeah, no matter how big or small it is, because someone has played a role that you can't even imagine. So what I can tell people is that let us take care of each other, okay? If you have anything to tell someone, remind someone. Someone has removed the mask, remind someone, can you put on your mask? Like a seat belt, okay? Like when you're in a car, you have to put on a seat belt.
Yeah.
Like, remind someone, okay?
And to stay safe.
To stay safe.
Social distancing, put on a face mask.
Yes, that second that you remind someone can save someone for the rest of their life.
There's a song that I would like us to sing even as we bring this discussion to a close. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Kule has sung so many songs, Beba Beba, he has sung so many songs that are going to be played right here on Good Morning Kenya. But as we bring this to a close, I would like you to sing one song dedicated to all Kenyans. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Is it that or Three Little Birds?
No, don't. Yes.
That those songs confuse people. There's don't worry, by Bob Marley, Three Little Birds. It's called Three Little Birds.
Oh,
there is Don't Worry by Macaferry. That's Don't Worry.
I want Don't Worry by Bob Marley.
It's called Three Little Birds.
Three Little Birds.
Yes.
Hiyo ndo nataka hiyo. Hiyo ndo nataka.
Don't worry about the things. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Baby, don't worry about the virus. Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise out this morning, smile with the rising sun. The little birds pick by my doorsteps, singing sweet song. The melody is pure and listen. Soweto, Soweto, Soweto. Say no to Corona. Say no.
I love that. Say no to Corona.
Soweto, Nairobi, Soweto, Nairobi. Say no to Corona. Say no.
Jerry, we say no to Corona.
Say no to the virus.
Say no to the virus.
How can people find you on social media again?
I'm Sam Kule on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Sam Kule.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are also live on Facebook and on our YouTube page and also on our website www.kbc.co.ke. So my director, I don't know, we can hear his song by Sam Kule, what he has done. Remember, he has done other people's songs, but he has also done and composed his own song. So let's take a look at this.
wako kila mahali atogeza ko kunonya kalimo enakuzinotiwa chasasula enakuzinotiwa chasasula enakuzinotiwa chasasula ujire tugende fabasalawo let's go to the mountain top. Life is all about a choice. Ujire tugende fabasalawo let's go to the mountain top. Life is all about a choice. You own the highest tower in the city that's in your mind. Brothers making millions, you're still here comparing them. You don't know how they started for them to be where they are. So stop wasting time. Atogeza kokunonya kalimo enakuzinotiwa chasasula enakuzinotiwa chasasula uchire tugende fabasalawo let's go to the mountain top. Life is all about a choice. Uchire tugende fabasalawo let's go to the mountain top. Life is all about a choice.
Welcome back. We continue with the show, and now we want to talk about the direction of Kenyan music. Joining us is Man Ingwe, Hyperlicious, and producer Shirko from Mombasa. They'll be talking to us about the kind of direction that our Kenyan music is taking in this country. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for making time to join us this morning. And probably I can start with you, Shirko, a producer. You're a producer. Yeah. Talk to us from a producer's point of view. How do you feel about the kind of direction that Kenyan music is taking as of now?
What I can say is I cannot say that we are going to the wrong direction. Na pia siwezi kusema kwamba labda what we're doing is actually the opposite way of what most of people expect in terms of what we need to do in the music industry. Kikubwa ni kwamba we need to add more. Shawana kwamba let's not concentrate na muziki fulani ambao labda watu wengi wanakuwa disappointed nao, wanasema labda ni muziki wa maneno machafu, matusi kama ilivyozoeleka since miaka mingi. So we need to add more. Kama kuna watu wanaweza kuimba muziki ya families whereby they can sit down and watch, listen and enjoy, au watu wanaweza kaimba muziki wa kuwatia nguvu wale ambao wanaishi maisha magumu. So we need to be having like different types of music ambazo zinaweza kuwa at a bigger circle ambayo everyone can choose what he or she wants. So nadhani ni kwa sababu we only have little choice yani ya music. That's why unakuta muziki ambao unakuwa promoted maybe ni muziki ambao labda una maneno machafu. Shaona. That's why people like we have no choice. Okay, let's listen to this. Okay, this is our music kwa sababu hakuna choice, hakuna type nyingine ya music. So wacha tusikilize hivi. That's why ni kama tumewalimit watu na kile ambacho wao wanataka kusikia au wanatamani kusikia. That's why others just decided to switch into listening to Tanzanian music and different types of music from Nigeria huko na wapi. When watu wakipata hiyo chance ya kutengeneza kama mi producer nitengeneze muziki wangu, producer mwingine naye atengeneze muziki wake, mwingine atengeneze muziki wake. Tukipata when we give these listeners different choices na wakuwe na choice nyingi sana ya kuchagua, I think tutaepukana na hizi haya maneno malalamiko ya wasikizaji kusema kwamba tuna Wakenya tumezoea manyimbo ya maneno machafu, matusi.
Aya, sawa. Na tutarudi kwako hapo baadaye utueleze zaidi kuhusu hii muziki ya Kenya. But coming to you, Man Ingwe, we know you for the song Ugali Sosa and of course other songs that you have done. From your point of view, do you think that the Kenyan music is heading towards a different, maybe a negative or a bad kind of direction?
I would say yes. But then, quick joinder, say that the kind of music we listen to is informed by many factors. 3 in particular. The first factor is that musicians, producers, actors, every player in the art and entertainment industry is a reflection of our society. So you do not expect to have a broken society, and out of a broken society, a majority good content. So let's not crucify the musicians, let's not vilify the producers, reflect and introspect as a community, as a society. It is actually a reflection of our society. That's number 1.
Okay.
Number 2 is that there is no shortage of good content out there. Like my predecessor has already said, we have a challenge and a responsibility to offer an alternative voice to our masses. And what that means is that the people who believe have good content in them, they should feed the community more, they should feed the society more. And the challenge also goes to the media. We are not saying that do not play those other pieces of music, but we are saying our viewership and our listenership the entire menu that is on the buffet. You can't just keep one line because it trended overnight and then you make that the main and you want to convince the listenership and the viewership that that is all that there is. And lastly, the fans of these various artists, the fans and the viewers of the various media stations also have a stake in this. That's why I say that it's a relationship and an ecosystem of the entire society. Now, if you are tired of the kind of content you are being fed, come on, voice yourself, make the requests for the kind of music you would like to listen to. Right now, we are not limited to what TV only gives to us. We have the social media space, and people have the ability to, put their content out there. So if you have come across this content, you also have a responsibility as a viewer, as a fan, to demand and to ask for the kind of content that you would like to get. It's a competition in this space. So compete for your space and ask for that which would edify and inspire you as opposed to that which may make you feel like we are losing it as society. I hope I have made sense, but the answer to your question was that yes, I think to a significant extent we are losing the direction. But all is not lost.
All right, so Hyperlicious, we've heard from producer Shirko who says that we need to have different choices to choose from in terms of how we make music as Kenyans. Ingwe is saying that yes, the Kenyan music industry is heading towards the wrong direction, and of course he has given his pointers, one among them being that we have a broken society. But let me just speak your mind on what you think about the kind of music that we do as Kenyans. Is it towards the wrong direction? What do you have to say about that?
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, I think you're not getting it right when it comes to doing good music.
Okay.
But I believe there are people who are focused on doing good music, and it all boils down to content. Content ndo kitu cha maana. I think we shouldn't give up, yeah, and we are the revolution. We are the guys who are going to bring change into our society and make a wave.
Okay. All right, coming back to you.
Music will never, yeah.
All right, so I now want to just our producer to tell us what he thinks about this, because umesema story mob, especially about content creation. Now coming to you, producer Shirko, you are a producer, and from a producer's point of view, wasanii wakikuja kwako na maybe muziki wameandika ama lines wameandika, una feel kama, kwa mtazamo wako, una feel kama hii ndio inafanya tusikue na maybe muziki mzuri hapa Kenya? Maybe content wanaandika muziki sometimes is not I mean things that probably we're facing as a society or something that can help people grow. What do you have to say in terms of content na vile wasanii wanaandika nyimbo zao kama producer?
Mimi kama producer, what I do is kind of different na maproducer wengine.
Okay.
Mimi wasanii wakija kwangu, muziki labda unahitaji vitu vidogo kubadilishwa. The second choice is nampatia choice kwamba na mimi mwenye was a songwriter, kwa sasa nitamwambia kwamba okay, maybe tunaweza tukashare idea, labda uko na chorus tu nzuri, nijue hii chorus yako itahitaji nini na nini ili muziki ukamilike. The third choice inakuwa mimi ndio I volunteer to write a song kabisa, na kuwa namchagulia cause akishaniimbia nishamsikia muziki wake ni muziki fulani na style fulani, so this style inaweza kumsuit vizuri kwenye muziki wake, so pale na choose kumwandikia na yani I've decided to write songs to different artists kama hao ambao nimewatengenezea wasanii wapi, so mostly I'm working on our upcoming artists ambao sasa hivi nimewashika kwa sababu nimefanya kazi na wasanii wengi kule nikiwa kule Tanzania. So nimekuja Mombasa, I wanted a change ya kiasi. So hivyo ndo vitu vitatu mimi navizingatia. That's why msanii ngumu sana atoke na the wrong content kwa sababu na kuwa natumia time nyingi sana kumadvise before kuanza kufanya kazi, au nimsikilize ako na weakness gani au anahitaji msaada gani, kwa sababu there's that communication between a producer and the artist. So wengi wakija tu it's like okay, mtu anatoka na nyimbo yake nyumbani analipa, okay producer hebu nisikiza hii, ana producer anapiga hapo, hataki huyu msanii ako na kitu gani na yeye anaweza kumpatia kitu gani, wakaweza kuunganisha pamoja wakapata good music. So hiyo ndio problem kubwa sana kwa maproducer, hawataki kuwaelewa wasanii wana kitu gani na wao wanafaa kuchangia nini kwenye muziki wao ili wapate kitu ambacho kitapendwa na mashabiki. So mimi kwangu ni different. Kwanza naongea naye, I'm taking that time to really try to understand the artist, what he needs and what the fans that he's targeting ambao wanataka kile kitu wanachokitaka, then mimi ndo nampa, kwa sababu najijua okay, nimefanya kazi na watu wengi na I have that experience ya communicate na artists, kitu ambacho si wengi sana wanacho.
Oh yeah, so at least unasema that producers pia wanafaa waelewe artists. Now coming to you man Ingo, just hearing from what producer Shirko is saying, that actually producers need to listen to artists as well, but kuna hii aspect especially for upcoming artists, mtu anataka kuje leo, a couple of months after that ameanza kuhit, anaanza ku make moves. From your perspective, do you feel that also this is what is making our Kenyan content not to be as it is supposed to be?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Man
That's my question.
Okay.
It's two-faced. Number one, most new artists and beginning artists do not have a proper understanding of their self-concept. Most new artists do not really know themselves. They don't know what they want to represent. They don't know the theme and the message that they want to put across to their people. They don't know how they want to brand themselves to be. And so that becomes part of the problem. For the record, I'm not only an artist, I'm also a producer. I have produced quite a number of artists. And what producer Shiksa said, I mean, it's cool, it's great. It's just one item for me that I would add, which is basically what I do. When I meet new artists, we don't start to sing. You can come to me for a session and I might take 2 to 3 hours just talking to you, trying to understand what you are made of, what inspires you, trying to establish what is your right genre of music, but most importantly, trying to establish what inspires you as a person. What is your key message? You cannot claim to be a jack of all trades. Everybody has something that they have an edge over others. Everybody has something that they are so passionate about, to such an extent that even if you're beaten down, you can still manage to rise up and still pursue that line. And so what I usually do with artists, and I hope I'm trying to answer your question, that most artists need to go through this process. You need to establish which is your space in the market. In business terms, we call it a niche. What's your market niche? What group of people do you want to talk to, and what is your message? Now, the moment you are sure about your message, the moment you are so clear about how you want to communicate to your people and how you want your people to interpret you and how you want your listeners to mark you as a person, and then you stick to it and become consistent about it, you will not be a victim to what is happening right now. And that brings me to the second problem of the second phase. Part of the problem, again, I agree with Producer Shix that we need to give variety to our people. And this is how I explain myself. For example, if you are a gospel musician, and therefore you are speaking the message of the gospel out there, you're encouraging people, you're teaching people God's word, you're teaching people the love of God, and you're trying to show the light to the people. And then midway, you start getting confused. You start having one leg secular and one leg in gospel. What happens is that variety is therefore taken away. That versatility is therefore taken out. And so the listener who wants to listen to gospel music doesn't find it even when they listen to you. They don't find I'm just using gospel and secular. Even within secular music, There are guys who do great music. There are guys who do inspirational music. There are guys who have issues in society.
Yeah.
There are guys who address the ills in the society in their own way of art. Or somebody like Kinkaka might say Wajinga Nyinyi and what have you. You might think it's an insult.
Nice. So consistency. But Hyperlicious, yes, there's also that aspect of consistency, especially for our artists and most importantly, also for the upcoming artists. But this issue of funds, pesa, ina affect aje vile muziki inaandikwa, especially for artists that are, just writing music, recording music. How is this an issue in terms of the kind of content that we are creating in this country?
First of all, let me say, music, to the music, it's your career that, and getting into a so now putting consider.
All right. Hyperlicious, you seem to be losing your voice, but I want to come to you, producer.
Okay.
Wewe ni producer pia, umeproduce a couple of artists in Tanzania, but from a producer's perspective, how can you compare muziki wa Tanzania na muziki wa Kenya?
To be honest, unakuta I thought you asked me about the difference or what maybe.
How can you compare that in the sense that unapata Wakenya wengi mtu ataprefer kusikiza muziki za bongo as opposed to kusikiza muziki zetu sisi wenyewe kama Wakenya. Yeah, so how can you compare the difference?
Yes, I get you. Ndio tunarudi pale to deliver.
Okay.
One thing that the Kenyan musicians need to take very seriously, and I hope by explaining that I'm able to the difference. One thing that the Kenyan musicians, artists, and producers need to take into consideration is that the way music is understood across the world, it is understood according to how a particular region presents their music. It is the sound, the genre that is associated with a particular people or that is associated with a particular region and a particular community. Now, Kenyan musicians are fairly consistent. I use the word consistency.
Yeah.
They are fairly consistent, and they are consistent with what they do. They are consistent with their kind of music. If it's bongo music, whether it was produced in Kenya, whether it was produced, you are able to put a finger to it and say, that is a bongo flavor. Now, the problem with Kenyan musicians is that we are not proud of ourselves enough. We are not proud of our content to such an extent that we, as opposed to putting together what the Kenyan content, Kenyan style, Kenyan.
Okay, so this is Man Ingwe just talking to us about what he thinks in terms of Kenyan music versus Tanzanian music, and he's saying that we are not proud of ourselves as Kenyans. Of course, you might be wondering, why do most Kenyans us, we love to hear more of bongo music as opposed to our own kind of content, and this is what they have been explaining to us from producers' point of view, from artists' point of view, the things we need to do in terms of creating Kenyan content, the things that Kenyan artists need to do to ensure that at least they are at par in how they create their content. Of course, also more of what they're saying is that consistency is important. Not today you're a gospel artist, tomorrow you're singing inspirational kind of songs, the next day you are singing secular, you've moved to secular, citing issues such as fun, citing issues such as not breaking forth. So at least just what they're telling us is that, our Kenyan kind of music, if it has to be up there and if we have to appreciate our Kenyan kind of content, then we need to love ourselves first as Kenyans. We need to appreciate ourselves first as Kenyans and create our own style, create our own Kenyan content. Also, what Man Ingwe was saying is that in terms of comparison of Kenyan content versus Tanzanian content, he was saying that yes, if you listen to Tanzanian songs, you will just know that this is a bongo kind of flavor. This is a bongo kind of song because they have already carved their niche. They've already identified their style and they're sticking to their style. lifestyle. But also what you're saying is that for us as Kenyans, sometimes we tend to like be here, there, everywhere, not knowing what exactly to do, because if we do this and it's not working for us, then we go to something else, just trying to pick things until it works for us. But what they're saying is that that is not the way to go, because we'll keep having these conversations about our Kenyan music heading in the right directions in terms of how artists are writing their lyrics, in terms of how artists are shooting, in terms of how they shoot their videos. And this is why you'll hear the moral cop, Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, always coming to complain because of the kind of content that we have as a country, simply because of how artists write their music. Of course, this is just a discussion we'll be having with them, and this is because of also what has been said in terms of our Kenyan content. I mean, you just listen to artists, you just hear artists, and you'd wonder, what was the kind of inspiration behind this song? But of course, again, like I mentioned, that is a discussion we've been having with Hyperlicious, producer Shirko from Mombasa, as well as Man Ingwe, who is an artist and doubles up as a producer, explaining to us about the kind of direction that our Kenyan music is taking. Jane.
Well, that is that in terms of music. And of course, we do hope that they keep doing better. Every day is a day to learn. So let's just be hopeful and see where the music scene does. Of course, this comes on the background of what Mr. Ezekiel Mutua alisema last week. People are going to be banned. The kind of music, watu wanatoa huku. Kaulizwa utawezana. But that is that. But before we get to close the show, remember we're supposed to have our trending topics, but due to the constraint of time, all in an effort to bring you all this fantastic stuff, we're not able to get into the trending topics, but we'll just leave you with this video of Mr. Museveni. This is a picture of him when he was, last week, he decided to put up a video for the Ugandan nationals, because he was saying there's so many people who are still going up and about trying to exercise, and they're exercising in groups, and it's not safe for them during this time. So I will show you how to exercise from home. Alipiga press-ups kama 10. Man Museveni. He did press-ups there in his office. He also went about jogging in his office, and all this he did last week on Thursday. So you can go out to any social platform and check him out and see what he did to just, you know, encourage you to keep fit during this time. But that is that from my end of things. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying with us from the beginning till now. My name is Jane Wamboy. Do have a lovely day. God bless. See you next week.
My name is Ram Maguko. May God bless you, and may God bless the work of your hands. My quote of today, read Psalms 39, verse 7.
All right, and my name is Doreen Arangi again. Till next week, stay safe, be kind to one another, have a lovely weekend.